Hey everybody, welcome to the 2015 Awards podcast show for 4Player Animecast. As usual, I'm your host, Spire. Joining me is our usual cast, Kenton.
Yo,
Alright, Nier,
Hey, I
and
feel really, I
Toast.
feel really unprepared for this.
You're really unprepared. You
hey,
literally had the last week, you were like, oh dude, I have to kind of like prepare for this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been preparing, but I still feel unprepared.
Alright, that's fine. None of us are like 100% prepared. It's fine. And Toast.
Hey guys, I haven't. It's been a while. I haven't talked to you guys since last
Last
year.
year. Yes, thank you very much.
Ah!
All right. Anyways, again, this is actually always. I think our preview shows and our award shows stuff like that are always some of our most kind of interesting shows, just because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of sometimes clash of opinions. Actually, with the preview shows, they're mostly okay. But when it comes to stuff like awards, who got the best, what we should judge by, usually there's a lot of disagreement, and that's all fun and well. So
Not fun and games, Fire. This is serious anime
this is
talk.
serious business. This is serious business, guys. But yeah, again, for those of you out there, I hope you guys, for the chatters in the crowd, I hope you guys will also join us in the discussion while we rev up this chat. The format will be generally sorted into the usual categories. We'll give it to genre awards or category awards like best sports series, best slice of life, stuff like that. We'll move into some people awards like best female voice actor, best male voice actor, best newcomer, stuff like that. And then we'll go into some for fun awards. Of course, we've got to have some of that, like best waifu, best guilty pleasure, and so on. And then afterwards, we'll have what everybody kind of is hoping for. Uh, Stuff such as the best manga, the best light novel, the best overall soundtrack, the best visuals, the biggest disappointments. I'm sure Nier has a lot of those. The most pleasant surprise, and of course, what we thought was the best anime of the year. Now,
Hey, Nier.
so
Hey, Spire. Why not give the audience a list so they can join along with us?
yeah, I'll put at the full list after I'm done explaining. Uh, so what we want this format to be is we'll each obviously take our turns, but we'll make a quick, you know, we'll give a quick explanation maybe of why, how we're, you know, how we're deciding this, what series we decided, and why we decided it, and then we'll just go through these turns, and that'll be really nice. And of course, if I'm explaining something and then Nier's explaining afterwards, he can just be like, "Yeah, I essentially graded by what Spire said, plus or minus a few things," so we can kind of go quickly through this. Okay, so the first one of this. Oh, and one last thing. Do note that some of us might not have an answer to whatever awards we choose. Maybe stuff like slice of life or best mystery or comedy or whatever. We might not have seen enough series or any series in that genre to give a good judgment upon it. So we can pass in that case. So without further ado, here we go.
Yeah!
First,
Woo!
first
yeah.
actually
Stop.
already one that one some of us might have more expertise in than others, and it's the best sports series.
Hey.
Kenton, do you want to start us off?
Oh, I wonder why I'm going first. Uh, sure. Um, this one was pretty much a no-brainer. There wasn't really that many sports shows that came out this year. Mostly, it was just like second seasons of ones, Baby Steps 2, Haikyuu
Mhm.
season 2, and Ace of Diamond kept going. But I gave it to
What do you
Haikyuu.
consider for like best sports series? Like when you're just like looking through them though.
Mostly just the characters, and that's pretty much it. Because that's why I watch sports. I don't really care too much about sports, but like I've said in the past, characters are what I really like, and Haikyuu is what I'll give it to because that show has so many good characters. It's unreal. Um,
Let me ask a question. What entails sports?
what?
Like, would you consider competitive cooking a sport?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe I guess as long as it's better than Shogeki no Soma, because that shit sucks.
Hey.
Wow.
You didn't get your answer either way, Toast. Anyways, go on. Okay, so Haikyuu, and
Yeah,
then
Haikyuu.
okay,
That's you know, it's really hard to compete with it in my opinion, just because there's so many good characters. It's fun. It's just really fun to watch, and I think that's all that really matters in a sports show, whether or not you like sports or not.
okay. All
So
right. So the Toast or Nier?
Well,
Did you?
I had a sports series, but apparently it just got shot down.
I
Wait.
mean,
Are you gonna? Were you gonna say Shikino no Soma, dude?
Maybe I was fired. Maybe I was. But apparently, since it doesn't count, then whatever, man.
you can count it, but it's shit. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, do you consider competitive symphonian playing sports too?
What? No, who would consider that a sport? Come on.
I don't know, Spire. Wouldn't you gonna put Hibike Euphonium up here too, or
For sports?
or
No, because it turned into a rom-com like halfway through.
what about competitive exercising with your favorite idols?
Hinako, competitive exercising with Hinako. Okay, go on with whatever you want to say, Toast.
I'm going to say Shokugeki no
Oh
Soma because I like Iron
God.
Chef, and you guys probably obviously don't, haters.
No, I like Iron Chef. That's just not really Iron Chef. You guys lied to me.
Yeah, Nier, good job, or Spire, good job.
You're
I
not innocent.
apologize.
I don't know. Mine goes to not Dagashi Kashi. What am I saying? Shokugeki. You're getting me off track. Yeah.
All right, Nier, did you have a series?
I don't watch sports, man.
All
No.
right, so Nier, we're
What
gonna
about
Sports.
pass on.
what about competitive teeth brushing?
No.
No. What's happening? All right, so next on the list is best slice of life, and
Ooh.
I think I want to send Nier down this path first.
Really?
Again, the three
Gonna-
things you can cover if you want to is brief explanation of how you chose this, what the series is, uh, then your justification for it.
Uh, I chose None on Biori repeat for best slice of life because
two?
yeah, season 2. Um, mostly because during that season, um, None on Biori was like pretty much the only thing that really like pulled me through like keeping watching anime because there was a lot of like bad like or not bad but like there was a lot of disappointment in that series. Like there was God Eater in that season. There was uh working in that season. So Nanaburi Biori repeat really like I don't know stood out to me just because like it really pulled me through there. So
Were
Nanab
there other slice of life series that you compared it to, or were you just
uh
like, yo,
I was thinking about putting Saikano on there, but
okay,
uh,
that's true.
mostly just because I watched that with a friend and I really enjoyed like watching that with somebody else. It was a really good experience, but I felt like Nanambiri was like the better show.
The better show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for my slice of life series, I do kind of consider a whole bunch of things. Originality, um, character interactions, whatever, the usual stuff that makes up a good series in general. But in addition to that, what do I consider about a slice of life is that it takes the very ordinary things and it makes you kind of relish it. And relish it whether it's in its simplicity, relish it whether you're just like, oh, this is just like what I do, but with these cute characters. Or maybe, oh, the world is so big, but I'm doing all these small things, and that's fine because that's how life works. Stuff like this is what I think slice of life really excels in. And in terms of that, I gave my award also to Non Nambiori Season 2 or Non Nambiori
Hey.
Repeat, with an honorable mention to Kofuku Graffiti. So I do think that Non Nambiori, although it has some slight stumbles in the earlier episodes just because of that like Hotaru like reintroduction thing that
Yeah.
kind of
The
happened. That was kind of
repeat. Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah, the repeat again. But besides that, I do think again the character interactions are strong, the voices are unique, audio visuals, solid. But more than that, you know, the pacing it gives, although it is episodic, it does take it's because it's episodic. It's allowed to take its time with all these scenes because after that one episode, you can just move on to the next scene or do whatever. Um, Although it is episodic, it does a very nice job of making it feel like it's going very gradually towards stuff. And I really do like that very relaxing, very countryside pacing. Not only countryside feel to it, the background, whatever, but the pacing of the series is very good. And how it, sometimes stays silent. Sometimes there's just like no noise in the background. Sometimes, kids are running around, stuff like that. I I really do like those slice of life aspects that they put in. I would have put in Kofuku Graffiti, but unfortunately, the issue with Kofuku Graffiti, as I'll probably mention later in this podcast, is that it just became too awkward at times. The writing versus the animation direction versus whatever else was happening was just very disjointed. And for that, No Nobiri gets the award. So Toaster Kenton, did you have a slice of life an award?
I do.
Or okay, Kenton.
Okay. I gave mine to Umaru because one, that's the only one I even watched this year. But I think I would have gave it to it regardless. Um, the reason the reason why I like Umaru is she. It's just fun watching her play with all these, otaku tropes and video game tropes, and it's fun recognizing them all. And then, that's
Like the references and everything.
yeah, just all the references and all that, and that's probably the only reason. Other than Umaru herself, because I like her as a character. So it was
Okay.
pretty easy to figure out who I was gonna give it to.
Okay. Toast.
Mine is gonna go to Konkole episode 6. Specifically episode 6. Cause no Coil. No, I'm kidding.
Wait. One episode? Wait, why?
Shut up. No, I'm kidding. It goes to Gakugarashi, man.
Okay.
Yeah, cause it's a
And
slice
why,
of life
dude?
that, spoiler, takes place during a zombie apocalypse.
That's the
Yeah.
premise, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. That's no
Yeah,
point. It's a
okay.
slice of life that takes place during a zombie apocalypse. And one of the girls is crazy, and she's all like, "We're gonna do some sweet school life stuff because I don't see the zombies." What's up, Dom? And the other chicks are like, "Yo, this bee be crazy, but we're gonna do it anyway to keep sane." So they do
So you,
normal.
I
so you
mean,
like a
all
whole
the girls are pretty crazy in that series.
yeah, all girls are pretty crazy.
But the one with the
I
weird hat is the craziest.
I'm not sure if I would well, I guess it like really tries
They do sweet school life stuff like hang out with their friends and talk about boys and eat and tend to their vegetable garden. And
I think
they also kill zombies and forage for food. But that's like minor, man. What's wrong with you?
I'm not sure how minor that is, but
It is a it's life during a zombie apocalypse, Spire. That is the meaning of the term slice of life. It is normal life for them to be doing
that's
all that stuff during a zombie apocalypse.
no,
So
it's
it's
an
like,
interesting point. It's an interesting point because I've always thought about Gakugurashi as more of it. The reason why it has these, bits and pieces of slice of life elements is because it's desperately trying to contrast that slice of life, that innocent, schoolgirls doing slice of life stuff, with the fact that they're in a fucking zombie apocalypse about to be eaten, like in a school. So I've always thought of that as like a sort of contrast. But it does, your point is valid that it does also serve as a slice of life, but in a zombie apocalypse.
yeah, man, they're trying to keep their sanity during when the world is gone to heck. They're like, we gotta do normal stuff and keep our mundane school life, so we don't go crazy like that chick who went crazy. Yeah. Spoiler.
Oh Jesus.
I opened your web, Dom. Thanks a lot.
All right, all right. Okay,
Shout out
so
goes to Concoli season or episode 6 because that's the best slice of life episode ever.
I'm
But it
already
doesn't
face
count
falling. All
because
right,
we'll talk about Concoli later.
all right, all right, all right, all right. So next is best comedy. Ooh, ooh. Are we already getting the groans? Okay.
We're
Can I
gonna fight over this.
can I go first just to get mine out of the way? Because I don't think mine counts.
All right, go for Kenton.
Wait, mine might count because of what Toast just did.
If
All
it's
right.
funny,
Good.
if it's
Go
funny
and
to
then we'll
you, it
talk about.
counts. Don't listen to Spire. He's a
Okay.
jerk.
All right. I gave mine best comedy to also Matsu-san, even though I've watched 2 episodes, because the first episode is so good they had to remove it from everything.
Hey.
Well, that's not because it's not comedy. It's more like you
No,
just
I
didn't watch enough of it yet.
wait. What do you mean? Also, Matsu-san is not a comedy.
No.
Fight, fight,
Like
fight, fight, fight.
facing it with the fact that like it might not be the best comedy. It might not be eligible for the best comedy thing. But you just haven't watched enough of it or whatever it was.
Man, even if I
Yeah.
watched episode 2 and it's not like episode 1, but it was still really funny.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
You were just
there was a few things that I might not have gotten just because I don't know too much Japanese stuff. I think if you live there, it's a lot more funnier. But there's still a lot that I found in even episode 2 that was really funny. So I don't know. It just
so it's mainly the references, or is there like slapstick in it, or like what?
oh yeah, it's a mix of everything. There's slapstick, which I assume is what the original show had.
Okay.
So that's in there, and then there's just like there's just like really what the fuck, and then you just start laughing moments.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not like it's not. Well, they do make references to episode 1 still, and so that was funny too. But even if you don't want to watch it, you can just go try to find episode 1 and just watch that because
Okay.
it is great.
All right, toast.
Best comedy? I found a lot of things funny, like Concoli's whole premise was pretty funny, but I don't think that counts as a comedy. I had it in my give it like
All right,
Jesus
we'll go.
Christ.
We'll skip you for now.
no
Go.
no. It's got to go to
What?
Nisekoi.
What do you
Yeah, Nisekoi.
No.
for comedy?
Yeah. No. Dragon Ball Super.
Oh my god. Okay.
Solely because of the fact that Vegeta can't cook eggs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Year.
Shout my shout out or it was either Dragon Ball Super
Honorable
or
mention?
TQ because TQ
Yeah, okay.
is funny. Then why do you think it has 7
It
seasons?
is weird. All right. Year.
Well, it's just a great thing that both slice of life and comedy are right after each other, because I put Non Non Repeat as best comedy as well.
You're running a fucking non-Fury train on this awards cast.
What was the funniest
Uh,
moment?
There's so many good moments in Non Non dude. Like, I pretty much picked Non Non as best comedy because Non Non hands down, is the series that I laughed the hardest at. Like, pretty much every gag Renge does, I like almost broke down, like crying, laughing. Like,
It's very non-Fury is very good at these like non-sequitur, just like deadpan humor stuff.
yeah, it's so good, and
It is very good.
like hands down, it was the funniest show I watched like all year. So that's why I gave it to Non Non
Okay. I gave mine to Binan Koko Chiki Boibu Love, or Cute Earth High School Defense Love, or whatever it's called.
Which one was that
Which,
again?
yeah, it's about the 5 guys who end up becoming like Sailor Moon, like magical girls,
Oh,
into
that one.
defending the Earth from like other magical guys. So it's really weird. Like initially, like the premise is just like, what is happening? But then you start ending up seeing like these like slapstick, these non sequitur. It's humor along the lines of Danshi Kokusei no Nichijou, actually, except crazier because it has like magical guys and stuff like that. But I really did like how it just it dropped everything. It didn't it was just like, okay, we're just gonna go full on Danish Kokase. We're just gonna do these crazy interactions. We're gonna maybe throw in some references, and we're just gonna go full tilt. And it did. So I really do like that. I did want to maybe consider Non Non Buri, but I did find this more. I did find Boebu a bit more stronger in terms of like what it offered than Non Non Buri.
What it offered. Yeah. I get it.
God damn it, dude. All right. Next, and we might actually, guys, we might actually skip over some of these, but for the sake of time. But
Wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't think of how much time it would take actually. So next is actually best protagonist.
Oh my god, you skipped over like. Whatever.
Most of those were no. All
Most of
right.
those were mine, man.
Most of
Thanks.
those were jokes, dude.
Maybe 10 of them were jokes, the rest were serious.
Oh my god.
All right.
Do them at
Best
the end.
protagonist. What?
Do them at the end.
What do you mean do them at the end? Oh, okay.
No,
Best
stop.
protagonist.
Go.
Okay. Nier.
Best protagonist.
Yes.
I chose Takeo Goda. Am I pronouncing that right? From Ore Monogatari.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
he's like, unique. One of the few unique main protagonists in anime in an industry filled with protagonists that are like complete Mary Sue's and exactly the same. So that was pretty much the entire basis. And like he's actually, likable and he's a good guy. But yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty much my entire basis on picking him.
Kenton.
I don't actually have one.
For best protagonist. Okay.
Yeah.
Save that.
Why
Toast.
not?
I don't
Toast.
know.
Oh, me? Alright.
Yeah.
My best protagonist goes to Nagato. Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because Konkole anime really disappointed me, but the characterizations of the characters were pretty spot on, especially Nagato. She did not disappoint me the entire season.
Okay.
It's like that's what the entire time I was saying that is what I expected from Nagato, and she did it. Yeah.
All right. So my best protagonist actually did go to
Oh my god.
what? Okay. So did go to the Ainz Ulgon, or the protagonist of Overlord. And again, Overlord, the premise itself sort of does shape the protagonist, but I do like the fact that he's much more focused on this world building. He's much more focused on exploration. He's focused on, getting his shit together as an overlord and not, wow, I'm gonna defeat all these things and, rescue the princess or whatever. He's not interested in those things, although he's in this feudal fantasy doing all these, feudal fantasy action stuff. He's just interested about finding out more about the world. And I think this sort of thing is much more conducive to world building, to cast building, instead of, you know, beelining for, for the determination endpoint where you're training in the fucking under the waterfall and, trying to rescue whoever. I really do like that, and I do also like the contrast where they set the overlord, the protagonist, to not be that smart. So he has to use his sort of like wily corporate skills or whatever to kind of get along and not just, be perfectly good at everything. So that's who I gave my best protagonist award to. Next, best antagonist.
Ah. Yeah.
Nier.
Wow, just putting me on the spot all day today, huh?
Yo, you want me to go first? All right.
Hey, go first. Yeah, go first, jerk.
All right. Okay, I can go first. All right. So I chose Bazette from Fake Calais. Excuse me. Fake Calais Prisma. Fake Calais Liner Prisma Ilia. Yes. Okay,
What
that's
a
the
title.
full name. Yeah, what a title, dude. Uh, as the antagonist, of course. Later on, she did turn into a supporting role or helping role for the heroes, no, for the protagonists. But I really do like Bazette just because she does take a whole much more like lawful evil stance, or like a lawful neutral stance when she's facing the protagonist. That's always good, not just, oh, I'm evil, I'm going to be evil, do evil thing. It's like not like that, and not just the whole like power grab scheme, but she has this objective, she has these powers, she's going to go achieve doing it, and then the rest of it was just the action scenes in Ilya featuring Bazette just punching everything to death. You know, I really do like a protagonist, or excuse me, characters in battle sequences when they're just like punching everything around them, and Bazette was one of those, so I just chose her for protagonist. Here,
Well, I chose mine kind of on sort of the exact opposite that you chose Bizet, in that he's pretty much your stereotypical, like, super evil because I'm evil, need all the power in the world villain, and I picked Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, good choice.
oh boy.
Um, pretty much because, I mean, he's Dio, right? He's one of the most charismatic villains. He's one of the most iconic villains in manga and now, I guess, anime.
Mhm.
And he's pretty timeless, I guess. He's, I guess, sort of generic, right? But
I think he's so like at the other end of the
he's
like I don't care, I'm gonna be
so
evil extreme. Yeah,
I'm so evil, like
yeah. At that
how
point, it
many
doesn't even matter.
lives have
He's
you
just evil.
taken? And his response is fucking, how many breads have you eaten in your life? Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just so crazy far into the spectrum, like as evil as evil can be,
he he's
you know.
he's less of like a character than he is like an embodiment of, I hate this fucking thing and I'm going
Yeah.
to destroy it. Yeah.
So yeah, I picked Dio just because he's, Dio, and he's basically the embodiment of your, you know,
Shit.
stereotypical
Yeah.
evil vampire villain, and
Yeah.
he plays it perfectly.
Okay.
So yeah.
Toast.
What? Oh,
Toast, best antagonist.
my best antagonist is Miura
From
because he took 7 to 8 years for Guts to get off the boat. Now we have a hiatus until summer.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
With that, man.
No, I'm kidding. My best antagonist was also going to be Dio, but since Nier chose Dio already, I'm gonna go with my runner-up.
You can choose the same thing.
No, shut up! No, I don't. No, I don't want to.
All right, go.
It's going to be Alessi from also JoJo.
Okay.
Because he has the best Hario Polnarefu, and it's great. Yeah, that's super cool. He's
All
also
right.
got an X, and he was a mimic. He was referencing The Shining. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also he likes. He's a pervert who likes children. So screw that guy.
That makes him an extra evil villain.
Yeah,
That
man.
sounded really odd.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Kenton?
mean, I would choose Dio, but Nier's already picked
Yeah, I mean,
Dio.
that's,
You
that's
can't.
a,
You
that's a
can't.
good
No.
that's a good reason to be a villain. That's a good reason.
Yeah, but you don't want to double dip. That's just gross.
All right,
Uh,
we're gonna move on. Okay, Kenton.
I also chose Dio because, I mean, come on. I mean, why? Even though Nier said it, I'm gonna say it. Nier's the best fucking villain ever.
Nier's the best villain ever. What? Wow.
No, I said Dio.
You
Or
said
did I say
Nier.
Nier? Oh,
Wow,
I'm still
how
sick.
rude.
Fuck you.
Nier's also a good villain. Let's hear you.
Nier's French, so he might be evil.
Oh.
Stop. Please stop.
All right, we're okay. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, what about? Did you have anything to add about Dio that?
No,
made
I think
your-
Nier. I mean, I just end up reiterating what Nier said, so I think he explained it very well.
Okay. Okay, good. So we'll move on to actually best cast. So best cast, starting with
I'll go first.
Toast.
Well, can I do best
It's-
half
I think-
cast?
Best half cast. What is?
Gonna do best half
No, it
cast
has to be
because
best.
half of them are really
No,
good and the half of them are terrible.
no, that would be overall not like average. You
I'll
have
go.
to pick the best
I don't
overall
want to
cast.
go then. Never mind.
All right, Nier.
Stop putting you on the spot. You go first, or Kenton.
All right, then I'll go first.
Jeez.
Okay.
What? Okay,
Why,
whatever.
it doesn't even matter because we have our list. So, I mean, unless Nier is thinking about it right now. So best cast for me was actually with Saikano or Saina Kanajo, heroine, no Sorare Kata, in English, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. Best cast as in characters, Dom. So best cast, I would. I mean, if it was VAs, it'd be Dog Days, like no question about it. So I don't know, but so I picked Saikano, even though I did not like the overall kind of creation of Saikano as much. Well, it wasn't like bad, but it was roughly done, I think. But I do like the individual cast of Saikano and how they sort of interacted with each other at times. Each member has their kind of unique or slightly unique twist on the stereotype. Like uh, there's Eriri Spencer, the twin tail blonde girl, who's kind of a bit more proactive, a bit more less sulky, and more let's go do stuff, and let's less of a kind of predictable tsundere. There's sort of the quiet monotone girl, but she's also kind of doing stuff. She's being proactive. She's getting the group together. She's not just like, oh, is this an eroge? I don't know how to react. She's actually taking things in stride. There's the older girl who's bookish, who's maybe a bit of an sadist or whatever, but she's also kind of has a kind side, and she has this human side, and that's kind of what I appreciate about Saikano in general, is that all these characters have a much more moderate side to them. They're not just like, I'm a tsundere or I'm an otaku. It's not like that. It's much more kind of balanced, and I do like the way that their characteristics and their sort of moderation appears in the conversation. So, Nier.
I also picked Saikano.
Oh, okay. I'm
Double
sorry.
dipping. Might as well call this the double dipping award
What?
show. Damn.
Okay. I gave my honor. By the way, quick honorable mentions to Gochiusa or Gochima wa Usagi desu ka? Or is the Order of Rabbit and Yuru Yuri. But keep going.
Uh, I mean, pretty much for the same reasons you picked Saikano, I also picked it mostly because of the character interactions.
Mm-hmm.
I also had Suki Monogatari as runner-up
Yeah.
because, unfortunately, I didn't get to Owari Monogatari this year,
Ooh. Okay.
so I can't give any awards to that. But Suki Monogatari was this year. I mean, technically, it came out like January 1st, so I just think, again, the character interactions in pretty much all of the Monogatari anime seasons are just like fantastic, and they're always super fun to watch. And the usual, pretty much
Okay.
the same.
Kenten.
Best cast. I guess I'd have to give it to the cast of Haikyuu.
Okay. Yeah, because you did say earlier
Yeah,
how you.
yeah. There is. It's really hard for me to find a show where there's so many good characters that I can't really find one that I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah, that show just has so many good characters. It's crazy.
All right. So next is gonna be a
Wow,
bit
you
more
didn't ask
fun.
me.
I thought you didn't want to go.
Wow, look at this.
All right, go.
You're already dropping the ball in the first year podcast.
Are you serious, dude?
My award goes to the main protagonist of Stardust Crusaders. Can't believe none of you said that.
All right.
Why? You know why? Because they're all memorable in their own way. Kakyoin, who's the MILF chasing weirdo with the glasses, and he ends up doing nothing, but he's got cool hair. You got Jotaro, who's it's Jotaro. What do you expect? He's a JoJo. He's got the sweet hat and the yara yara and Star Platinum. Old man Joseph.
He's also like the worst JoJo.
Wow. This is a safe zone. No fighting here, please. No, thank you.
I think you mean Giorno's worst JoJo. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Okay, he's one above him. All right.
Then you got old man Joseph, who's basically the Indiana Jones of the cast because he's got the whip and the hat. He's also old. Yeah.
Okay.
I, there's two more. God, calm down, Spire.
All
You
right.
got Iggy, who hates everyone at the beginning, but at the end he's all like, "You're all cool dudes. I'll fight with you." And he's a dog, even though Araki hates dogs. Then you got Abdul, who apparently no one knows whether he's black or Egyptian, but he's cool. He controls fire. There, yeah, man. Everyone in that cast is memorable, and they all got their cool moments and their own special character ticks. Like Polnareff is yeah, and Polnareff he's French, not near French, but French. He's also got a sweet. I'm gonna say Polnareff, not Jean Pierre Eiffel. Screw that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
man,
right.
they got their own character ticks, and they're all very memorable. Like, yeah,
So you do like all their kind of like
heck yeah,
uniqueness in the cast.
yeah, man.
Okay.
They bring a good variety to a cast of a ragtag group of adventurers who gotta beat a Dio.
Okay.
And
All right.
you end up liking all of them. There's no one that you hate. Am I wrong? I didn't think so.
All right.
No one dares to say that they hated Iggy or Polner or Abdul or Kakio or Polner at the end. They're a liar.
All right. All right. So with
Yeah.
that said, that was a pretty good choice. But with
Can't
that
believe
said,
none of
well,
you all made that. Disappointed.
okay. Okay. All right. We're sorry. We apologize. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to the music section and the fan service sections, and that'll be interesting. So for best opening again. If I had to start off, for music, for me in general, it comes down to a couple of things. Obviously, it has to have a good melody. It has to be unique, or well, okay. So I'll go over the unique or good melody first. Like by good melody, it means like it needs to be coherent. It needs to have a good resolution. It can't just be some sort of like build up into some weak shit. That doesn't mean like this also kind of precludes these J-pop female singers trying to hit random notes like they're pretending to be Zach or something like that. Like that doesn't work. It has to be a coherent melody. It has to have a good resolution. It has to have a good leitmotif, phrase, whatever. Then I also want it to be unique though. Like it can't just be like the same shit over and over again, which unfortunately excluded some very good singers, although they are solid. They weren't very original in what their work, so they kind of went out the door. And then after that, they have to have, of course, good vocals, good instrumentals, the whole 9 yards. So I picked Comet Lucifer's opening, which was The Seed and the Sower by Fauna. And this opening I really did like, although the series itself, or what Dark Soul I think calls not Gurren Lagann, the series itself was not very good. The opening was very nice. The fauna just hits notes like wherever very cleanly without just throaty singing. The instrumentals are pretty decent. She keeps it pretty high up there. She has like this vocal strength to go up, and it resolves pretty nicely. The only complaint I would have is that at times where it wants to create a better melody instead of resolving it, it kind of keeps going up and up and up and up the register instead of kind of, maybe resolving an octave down or whatever. But that's just a small complaint. But overall, that was much more unique. Honorable mentions to Cinderella Girls season 1 opening, which was Star or something like that. And then Symphogear GX opening, sung by Nana Mizuki, which again excluded itself, although it was very solid, a very solid song, but it just wasn't unique. It's the same Nana Mizuki stuff over and over again. She doesn't do any different formats. She doesn't, I can predict her song like even deaf. Like, it's, I don't know. So that was my choice again. Comet Lucifer opening, Seed and Sower. Nier, what's yours?
Uh, my best opening was the opening for Subate ga F ni Naru, or the Perfect Insider. I picked this because, like, right off the bat, it's extremely upbeat. Uh, it's a very unique song, in my opinion. You don't hear much like it. The visuals are also extremely unique and like visually keep up with the tempo of the song. And I think just overall, it's a really, really stellar opening. Um,
Okay.
and my runner-up, of course, is to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Season two's opening, just because the cinematography in that opening is like stellar. It's fantastic. There's so much hidden stuff in JoJo's openings, and there's so much. And then there's like the special opening, and it's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, JoJo opening animations are always very well done. Like, there's really nothing else to say about
Hmm.
that sort of animation. Kenton.
Okay, my best opening that I chose is Brave Shine from Fate Stay Night UBW
Yeah.
because holy shit, it's so good. Um, just the way I love the way that it starts. It starts off really slow, so she's singing, pretty quiet, not really changing her tone all that much. It's very melodic, and then when you hit to the chorus, it just explodes. She just I don't know who the singer is, which is sad, but
It's Aimer. Aimer.
is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Imer. Okay. Well, she has, I think she just has a very 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 good voice, and she did a very good job singing the song. And it's just when the chorus kicks in, it just becomes so good. And then I question humanity when people say all these other ones that are better than that, and you make me sad.
All right, Toast.
Well, since Kenton said Brave Shine, and Spot and Kenton and Nier said JoJo Season 2, I'm gonna go with my third choice, which is the Concoli opening. Ah.
Okay.
Easily the best thing from the show.
Easily the best. Oh shit. Oh, that blow
Because
for this.
it is a really good opening. It has very good dynamics. It's got good energy in it, and it's like the song fits really well with like what's happening on screen, and shows off the main protagonist in a good light, where she's working hard and whatnot, and then like when the actiony part kicks
Yeah,
in
the animation in the opening is quite good. Dio Media, I mean, and obviously the Kataka people that helped didn't, I think, definitely didn't disappoint with the visuals. I guess audio visuals in general for Conclave, I think.
we're gonna argue about that later, but no,
Oh boy.
the opening is fine by itself. I get a lot. It gave me a lot of it's a lot of powerful feelings, energy, and I felt good to
It's
watch, man. Which I can't say about some of the other episodes, but I don't hate the opening at all. It's really good.
okay. All right. So next, best fan service.
So this is what's fan service, Fire?
So okay, yeah, that's a very good question. So Kenton and I were also talking about this earlier about what to put for best fan service, and my statement, and I'm sure I've made this statement before in previous podcasts when we were talking about fan service in general, is that as long as you can justify it, I think fan service is anything that is made specifically to the fans that does not fit very well with the rest of where the series or where the story is going. So that is, let's say, it's some sort of rom com, or they're doing some sort of interaction, and in the middle of it, they throw out some references or do some cheesy flirting or whatever that they don't necessarily need to advance the character reactions, to advance the plot. That could be an example of fan service, or the classic panty shots or lewd stuff. That's not necessary for the character reactions or whatever, but obviously fans want it, so you give it to them. but it doesn't necessarily have to be, flirting or references or panty shots or whatever. It can also be battle scenes. It can be, maybe trivia that people like. It can be whatever, as long as you can justify why it's fan service and not just part of the series. So, to start off, I guess I'll go with the standard, fan service, and I'll give that award to Monster Musume. And Monster Musume, obviously, the whole power fantasy of living with monster girls, being in a harem of monster girls, doing whatever. But I really did find the tone that the anime set the Monster Musume cast in very kind of like shiny, glossy, cute, and it's Monster Girl fan service. What else do you have to say? And I do like how the cast ended up. I thought the new blood, the rookies that were in the cast for Monster Musume would do an okay job, but they lived up to expectations, did better than I thought. I especially like some of the later supporting roles that were in the Monster Girl harem, so on to say, and they did their job. I did like the visuals, and overall it was a very solid fan service package. Near.
I picked Suki Monogatari uh, mostly because the fan service isn't really like traditional fan service, I guess, in terms of like, something like say, Monster Mon or Monmusu, where it's,
Monmusu, yeah.
uh, cleavage being shown and sexual references and stuff. The fan service in Suki Monogatari is more like um, a character teasing like Shinobu because she's short, and then Shinobu getting really upset and then threatening to be like, "Well, I'm this all-powerful vampire, and the only reason I don't kill you right now is because I'm just such a nice person." But really, she just doesn't have any of her powers. Or like Araragi trying to fetch a character out of a claw game machine for literally no purpose, but it's a joke. So
Right.
I feel like it's the fan service in Suki Monogatari is very, at times it's very like surreal. I guess like a lot of things in the series, but it's not traditional and it's still done very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kenton.
All right, here we go. I gotta try and justify this.
Got to roll back the sleeves for
Yep,
this.
I gotta try and justify this. All right, now my best fan service that I chose, I gave to Uru, and the reason I say that is because like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the show is just her being, super super nerdy with video games and you know a bunch of stuff like that, and it's filled with video game references, anime references, a bunch of that stuff. And
Right.
to me, like that really appeals to me and that's why I think that's more of a fan service because they know what they're doing. There's not really any like lewd style fan service in the show. Compared to like Monster Musume and things like that. And in my opinion, I think that should still count as a type of fan service because they are appealing to they're still trying to appeal to a certain type of viewer rather
Yeah, right.
rather
They're
than
making these
using
references, right?
rather than just using TNA to appeal to them.
Okay. Okay. So, Toast.
What's up?
This is gonna be interesting. What's your award for best fan service? Who?
I was actually pretty torn on this one because my
Okay.
standard choice was going to be what was it? My standard choice was going to be that's good. My choice is Concole for best fan
Kankole?
service. Yeah, this is actually very interesting to talk about because
Okay.
I've said it earlier, like on this podcast before, but even though the premise of Concole overall was bad, what they did with the characterizations of multiple characters was actually very in line to what like the fandom made up.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, Ashigara, she was
Right, and
like
like
this
the dojins and
every
stuff like that.
yeah, your loot dojins. Well, Ashigara is like,
Oh,
oh,
the dojins.
I'm X amount years old, and I'm a hungry wolf, and I'm always looking for victory. Like that's the normal stuff. But then in
Right.
like even in the anime, they showed how like the Ashigara is kind of old lady-ish, and she's looking for a man. So like in episode 6, she's participating in the curry contest because she thought it would boost her girl points for, like, oh look at me, I'm girly and I can cook. It's like that's and like I want a man, and they definitely addressed that in the episode. And
Right.
yeah, like
Right.
and another example is with Nagato, where Nagato in the game is this stern Taciturn, super
And
dependable, reliable,
and then
awesome
Nagato
ship girl.
Squirrel. Nagato Squirrel.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like she secretly has a soft side for cute animals and whatnot,
Right.
like with
Right.
the
The
squirrel
classic.
scene, and that's definitely something that you don't see in the game, but that's definitely a fandom thing, and it showed up there.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm glad that they addressed a lot of fandom things in the Concola anime, even though I have very mixed to negative feelings about it.
Mixed to negative. Okay. That's
I mean,
that's
I
still
I,
good then.
I can't I can't call out how good they did with characterizations.
All right. All right. We'll leave that later. Okay. So worst fan service. Worst
Oh boy.
near.
Wow, putting me on the spot again. All right.
See?
I went with Triage X.
Hey.
Probably for pretty obvious reasons.
What's Triage X near?
Triage X is a bad show for bad people. Triage X is basically like, or was like, I guess the next thing from the High School of the Dead creator.
Yeah. With
It's
Zebek too.
basically like, yeah, it's basically like mercenary doctors who kill criminals
Cancerous
because
criminals.
they're the quote unquote cancer of society. And like the premise is stupid, whatever, right? Like High School of the Dead's premise is kind of stupid, but it's just so bad and it was so poorly done. And even the fan service, like something you'd expect the creator of High School of the Dead would be able to do like really well, was like A, really bad, and B, extremely censored. Like the entire screen was censored, so it was like, why even bother? It was just like,
Black screen or white light?
like, like magic fog censors
Yeah.
that only show the characters' faces.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why even animate it then? It was so
Because
bad.
they wanted it. All right. Mine was also Triage X with an honorable mention to Prison School. Uh, but
Prison School
essentially for
won
the same
awards, Spire. What are you talking about?
award-winning fan service. Excuse me. Okay, but yeah. So Triage X, essentially the same reasons as Nia suggested, especially with the whole like censoring business. Like, if you're gonna have something obnoxious and you know it's gonna get censored, and you're like, it's like you're gunning for that, Blu-ray DVD thing where there's no censor. Like, guys, come on, like, and then that's definitely a big minus point in my book. And then that plus, obviously, like the obnoxious fan service just flying everywhere. So I also gave Triage X my award for worst fan service of the year. Toast.
My worst fan service goes to Shin My Mao. No
Oh,
Testament Season 2. I'm also going to include Season 1 because it was the first time in any anime where I was like, I'm usually like pretty taciturn or neutral when it
taciturn.
comes to this, and it's like, whatever, continue on. But there were certain times in anime where I was like, just stop. This is not really worth it.
The thing is, they just put it in very
If they just put it in there, just
like
put it in
it
there.
goes from it just goes from 0 to 60, and a lot of times it's like we need to do this now, like Jack Bauer style.
Sure.
Like,
Sure, I mean, like,
so
even high school DxD had fan service, but it was like, it had a good story and whatnot behind it too. And I
yeah,
initially
it
believed,
timed it a bit better.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I initially believed that Shin My Mao had a good story and whatnot, but it doesn't, not anymore. and I got tired of it real quick. It was a pretty bad fan service.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
a lot of unnecessary scenes and just like don't do that. Whatever. I got really like it's the first. It was the first time I actually got bored of the fan service. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, Toast getting bored of the fan service. This coming from a resident Data Live person. So Kenton.
My secondary goes to Kole.
Um,
Okay.
okay. I gotta be
Kenton.
that. I gotta be that guy. I also gave it to Prison School because,
Whew.
dude,
Oh boy, what was your
it's so.
favorite?
What?
What was your favorite worst fan service?
Prison School?
What do you think was the worst scene from Prison School in terms of the fan
Um,
service?
oh, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch it. But I mean, just from going, I had the Prison School treatment like I did with One Punch Man,
Hmm.
where I've just kind of seen like gifs and short videos of it, and I'm like,
Right,
this
right.
is like the worst thing I've ever seen. And the other thing that I had with it is, and I've referenced it before, is just like in the manga where it takes all an entire page for him to put his eye on that girl's nipple. And
Oh man, that was hilarious.
ever since that point,
Oh,
I
that was
knew
great.
that was gonna be
That was
bad,
great.
and it's just
Yeah, no, don't forget about the peeing and then the booty sweat and then
oh my god.
the nipple hair arm wrestling.
Freaking-
We can go on and on. It's great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Prison School has some
prison
very,
school.
yeah, award-winning Prison School, excuse me. Okay. So now that we've gone over the worst fan service and we ended up on some, how shall I say, predictable choices, we'll move on to the People Awards section. And again, these are just people in the industry that we thought was just around the overall best, did the work, etc., etc., etc. So we'll go over to the best female voice actor. So best female voice actor, in my book, goes to somebody who has done a lot of work in 2015, a lot of main roles and like important roles, not just like random stuff in shorts or whatever, but like major, lots of lines, has to do stuff, not just sit there and be a high school girl, but like has to act out emotions, do whatever. And is able to fulfill a variety of roles. That is, you can't just act out the same roles over and over and over again, or the same types of roles. You have to to be a high school teacher, or be a little schoolgirl, or be a stern manager, or whatever. You have to go through all these things, and you have to show that you have the chops to go through all these different voices. So, in terms of that, my award for best female voice actor goes to Sumire Uesaka, or Uesaka Sumire, who did Shaltier in Shaltier, who was the vampire in Overlord. She did a little role in Dog Days. She did Fubuki in Kantai Collection. She did the main role in Plastic Memories. She did Oboro in Shimonera. And she did Anastasia in Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, both seasons. So I do like the variety of roles that she did. Stuff like Anastasia, or like or Plastic Memories, where she did Edu. She did a very quiet role, or much more tame role than this very sort of seductive, almost uh, sort of falsetto tone that she took in as Shaltier and Overlord, and I do like that range that she did. And she took a lot of big series, again, Content Collection, Dog Days, Concrete Revolution, Overlord, Plastic Memories, Idol Masters, and Cinderella Girls. So I think that she deserved the best female voice actor role. Near.
I also had Sumine Uesaka on my list, but I'm gonna give it to Kaori Nazuka,
Okay.
who voices Renge's older sister, or the teacher in Nanambiri Repeat. I think she was in a few other things this year, but pretty much purely basing it on that role. I really really like her, you know, sleepy voice, I guess. Like all the
Right, the
voices,
lazy voice.
all the
Lazy.
voices in Non Non Biyori are like super unique and super good, and it's like her performance just like really stood out because like her comedic delivery especially is like really really good in that role.
Yeah, as Rengi's sister or as a teacher, she really did make that voice. It's not like people were like, "Wow, this is pretty obvious as to what voice." Like she made that lazy voice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's really really good, and I really liked it, and that's why I'm giving her the award.
Okay. Kenton, do you have anything for this
Um,
award?
I hate to be that guy.
Kai.
Kan Hanazawa, because I don't fucking know,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know any voice actors. I
No,
don't
that's
She,
even
fine.
she
I
was
just
she
wanted.
was Hana in prison school. That's all you need to know.
Oh, baby.
like.
It,
I'm the type of person who doesn't really care that much about voice actors.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
fine.
know,
it's okay. Her best role was Marimo in TQ seasons 4 through 6, 7, whatever.
all right.
God,
I'm going with that.
dude. All
Sounds good to
right.
me.
Okay. Toast.
My award also is similar to Spire's in that it also goes to someone who's had a lot of prevalent roles this year and did very, very well in a wide variety of roles, and it will go to Ayane Sakura.
Okay.
If you
Oh, yeah,
don't know
alright.
who
No,
she is,
I
she
like
did a
I like it.
lot of really good roles. Like I'm just gonna go off the list of this year. She was Tomori Now in Charlotte.
That's who Toast gave it to.
Let me continue. Let me continue. She was Akari Mamiya, the main character of Hida no Arya AA. She was in High
Okay.
School DxD, the new one, whatever, as Casper. She was
Oh, she did the trap in Gasp? Okay. Keep going. Yeah.
she's well, she did numerous roles in Contact Collection. Let's go in order of my favorites.
Oh
Nagato,
my god.
Mutsu, Shimakaze, Sendai,
Half
Naka,
this list is content
Jinsu,
collection now.
Kuma, and Tama.
Oh my god,
She
dude.
was in
Okay.
Gochu. She was in was Love Live this year? No, it wasn't.
Love Lab
Oh no.
or Love Live?
She was let me whatever. She was in Nisekoi as Haru Onodera, which is the best Onodera. She's Natsumi in No Non Biori and No Non
Yeah, that
Biori
one's good.
season. She was also an Overlord as the Vampire Lolly? Epsilon?
I think
No, no,
it
no.
was one of the maids or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the maids.
yeah. She did like she did a lot of big roles. Wow, she actually now to
Told
like
you,
look at
I
it,
know. Like
she
she's
did a
in.
lot.
Uh, she was that the new girl in Yahari Ore
Yeah,
Station and whatnot.
Origairu or whatever,
Yeah,
the one that keeps teasing the protagonist.
yeah. And she
Yeah,
was also in.
okay.
I already mentioned Gotochumon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gochiusa. Okay.
She did a lot
Yeah,
of.
this is a good list.
She did a lot of prevalent roles. She has a very good vocal tone, especially you can tell between Nagato, Mutsu, Shimakaze, Sendai Naka, and Jinsu.
Toast is starting to base off his awards rubric on how well they do the various content roles.
Hey man, whatever.
All right.
You can't deny that she's got star power with her, and she's got a very good wide variety of roles.
Yeah,
So
she has a good voice, definitely. Okay.
yeah.
So we'll skip on to the best newcomer. And I did want to mention this because I did, before I even got onto this podcast, I did have a newcomer thing, and I thought it would just be nice to have people know, new kind of names on the whole like Kono Hanazawa, and Taketatsu, blah blah blah, and just kind of make us think about going through this series and being like, wow, these people are up and coming, these people are new, they're doing stuff. My award for newcomer, although she did have one pretty big role in 2014, is Osawa Ari, and some of you might know her as
Oh,
Sakura
you
Chiyo
fucker.
in Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun.
And Prince Eugen in Contact Collection.
Yeah, but that was 2015. So I'm not going down that. But so she did have one big role in 2014, but other than that, she pretty much everything else was relatively, supporting small supporting roles, whatever here and there, and she really got started, this year when she took the main roles in Mikagura Gakuken Kumikyoku or Mikagura School Suite. She did, as Toast said, Content Collection. She actually also did. Yeah, she did various roles in Ore Monogatari, Wakaba Girl. She did the main in Rolling Girls. She did what is it? She did some Etotama, some Classroom Crisis stuff. Like a lot of these,
She was also the
not
twin tails in Gakugarashi, the one with the sweet shovel. Yeah.
yeah, she was that was the one I actually want to mention. Thanks. Yeah, so she was also the twin tail or Ebisusawa Kurumi in Kakugurashi. So it's not like she took like every like big role, but she was definitely like solid this year for someone that took like one main role in 2014. So I hope I do see more of her. She does have a very good voice, a petite voice, but as Kurumi and as Kirin, as some of these other characters, she can do a variety of roles, whether it's a bit quieter or whether it's a bit more active, a bit more seductive, whatever. Uh, so I do hope I get to see much more of her in the future. Nier, do you have a newcomer?
I do not.
Okay. Toast. I think you might have one, or is this am I being left alone right now?
Sure. I'll go with Sue.
Okay.
I'll go with Sue from Monster Musume, who is voiced by Maika Nomura.
I think I looked her up actually.
Yeah, she doesn't have many.
What else?
It's like she has three main roles and things that no one really cared about.
Her
Mujaki,
breakout role was Sue,
I
or
guess. Like
okay.
Mujaki no Rakuen, Nyamen, Rescue Me. Like,
Okay. Oh, Rescue Me was an interesting OVA,
no,
but yeah,
it
that's
was a
not.
hentai OVA or whatever.
Yeah, it was a hentai OVA. But
It's like, who cares about those roles? We don't even like. Yeah, I look it up. Mugaki no Rakuen is an OVA. Like the only one is Nyamen, which is
which is
CGI
not.
ramen bowls that
Yeah, which is not
look like cats.
really.
What? Wait, what is this? What? Cat girl ramen bowls? What?
Yeah, okay.
I gotta
So
look
her
this up.
her breakout role was Sue. I think she also did do a pretty decent job as Sue, although Sue didn't get as many lines as maybe some people might have hoped. But
Sue,
I guess
Sue is also top five monster girls of that anime, so whatever. Yeah, I really
oh,
liked her role, Sue.
yeah, I also liked her role in Rescue Me, although I guess not many people have seen that. She did a pretty good role in kind of being the kind of you know the the main jealous girl or whatever. But she did do that role well, and I think she's also flexible as Sue. So best of luck to her in the
Yeah,
future.
like funny fact that it was going to be Asai Ayaka who
Uh,
was the main who voiced the main chick in Hibike Euphonium and
okay.
Naruse Miyo in Shin Mai Mao No Testament, but Shin Mai Mao was pretty bad. So I was like, I don't like that. So I couldn't give it to her.
Okay. Okay. So now that we've named the
Kanten, do you have one?
I do.
Yeah.
Hana Kanazawa.
oh baby, all right, moving on. This is actually one of the more interesting things I want to point out in the People Awards is the best character voice actor combination, and this isn't
Oh
just
boy.
who did a good who was a good voice actor, who has a good voice, which character do you like, who do you think was cool. No, it has to be something that's like, wow, this voice fits this character, is very good on this character, and it's just like it's something like it's just like when you like hear it, you're like, wow, it just clicks. Uh, however you want to describe that. So for me, I did give mine to Albedo, which is the main sort of heroine for Overlord, the succubus sort of with the devil horns and stuff like that, which is played by Yumihara. So Yumihara usually does do these very sort of lady, sort of high class lady roles such as Takane and Idolmaster and so on. And she did a very good role of kind of switching it up into high gear because Overlord as an anime was much more comedic in aspect. So she did, the comedy part of it. She needed to juggle sort of the romance sort of the melodramatic, like, oh, don't go away, you know, I'm the damsel in distress kind of thing. She needed to balance that with the high class lady act. She had a lot of things going that she needed to do, and she did it very well. Honorable mention does go to Renge's sister, Kazuma Miyauchi, and Kari Nasuka. As Nier mentioned earlier, she just does the lazy voice really well, and it's one of the things that really stands out in Non-Non-Biori, her and Renge's voice. And you know, what else is there to say really? So that's my honorable mention. Nier.
It's funny that you mention Renge because she's my pick.
Oh shit.
I picked Kotori Kaiwai voicing Renge Miyauchi because, like, I mean, let's be real, no other voice would work. Or at least I can't imagine any other voice being Renge, right?
Yanpas.
Like, it works so well. Like,
Yeah.
that voice is Renge. Like, there's no other, like, voice that could be Renge. And I
That
think,
voice really helps with the deadpan humor too. It's just like
yeah,
that
sure.
is it. It's like it's just like there. You're like, what?
Yeah. So yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah. Okay, Toast. Ooh.
I'm gonna preface this by mentioning that my previous pick of 2014 and 2013 or whatever, if we had
Mhm.
this, would have been Marina Inoue as Toka Yatagami. It just
I'm
clicked
already
already.
shaking my head, dude. I'm actually shaking my head so hard.
If you then you should know who my pick is already. It's like
What
whatever,
is
man.
it? I don't know.
Oh my god, really? Nier probably already knows.
You told me already.
Yeah, see? Nier already knows. What's wrong with you, Spire?
But you
My
told
pick
him.
this year is Sakura
Nagato?
Ayane as Nagato.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
predicted this just before you did. Okay, so it is Nagato.
It's like
Geez.
I've mentioned this probably beforehand to Nier or whoever, but I like Yamato. She's strong, reliable, and whatnot, but her voice is Ayane Takatatsu, and I really don't like her all that much. Like, you know, the whole Oremo thing really ruined me. Like, even though I thought I like in Concole, Sakura or Ayane Takatatsu really did a good characterization of Yamato and like changed my opinion of her and whatnot.
Mhm.
You just can't beat out Nagato, man. Ayane
All right.
Takatatsu's got that strong, reliable voice, deep
Ayane
tones.
Takatsu does have a strong, like, very
It's
boom.
like yeah, it's
A bit on the younger side, but yeah.
it's like Nagato sounds like the type of person you could completely trust with the whole safety and well-being of your entire fleet. And it's pretty good, man. It's like I cannot
Good.
picture any other voice other than her who could do just like a commanding, strong, like independent, very reliable voice
Okay.
who would voice with Nagato.
Okay.
She's also a pretty good Mutsu. Ow.
So, I want to go to
Kenten.
Best Director. Or no, Kenton doesn't have one. So I want to actually skip right over to Best Director of the year. And again, Best Director, I think also. So the difference between a director and a producer, for those of you who don't know, the director kind of heads the creative aspects of the project. That is, you know, how the animation is going to work out, how the storyline is going to kind of pan out, how maybe the tone of the story or the tone of the anime compared to what it was in the original thing. And the producer, of course, sets the timeline for how it's going to go. That is, you know, we have to hire these people. We got to do this. We have 3 months to, you know, publish this, whatever. So the director has a lot of burden on his hands, and obviously when he's not creating like a straight adaptation of the manga, he has the burden of kind of heading the creative efforts to make sure that the anime is both a good promotion of the original material, if it is an adaptation, and making sure that it is a decent media form by itself. Like it's not just like, oh well, it's the manga, but it's colored, stuff like that. Like that's just not even direction. It's just like, oh, I'm doing the original stuff. That's just laziness. So a lot of it, you know, goes to how it's been animated, the pacing of it, the tone of it, stuff like that. So my award goes to Shin Onuma, as director at Silverlink, responsible for stuff such as
Rocket
Ilya,
Kishi.
Rakudai Kishi. He was previously, in previous years, he was director of Bakuto Test, all 3 seasons of like the OVAs or whatever. Excuse me, the 2 seasons of the OVAs, and so on. And if you just look at how he directed it, I mean, the stories themselves are like from the original material are not that good. Let's be real here. And even like the manga original, like the art is good, but like the art for both Rakudai Kishi, for instance, and for Ilya are both very good, but they're manga and they don't necessarily give off the sense of action as well. But really, what Shin Onuma did with Rakudai Kishi and Ilya in terms of animation, in terms of how the visuals worked out, in terms of the flashy battle scenes and the sort of fluid sort of frames, they're very good. It's just there. I mean, story aside, it's just there's no doubt that he has the talent to kind of make everything look super shiny and super glossy and super fancy, and I really do appreciate that. Honorable mention goes to Shinya Kawatsura, who's the other kind of major director at Silverlink. Unfortunately, he didn't do as well with pacing in some of the series that he did, so Nier.
Um, I was originally going to give this to I was gonna cop out and give this to Akiyuki Shimbo, but then I started
Ooh.
looking
I would have judged you. I would have butt in if he said Akiyuki Shimbo, just because. Yeah, keep going.
because I looked and like pretty much all he's done is Monogatari and like Nisekoi, and it's like whatever, And I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna give it to a director that hasn't done much,
Mhm.
I'm going to give it to uh, Rei Matsumoto, who directed Kekai Sensen this year.
Oh, okay.
She also directed Kyosugiga in 2012, and it's pretty much like she pretty much only did Kekai Sensen this year, but like Kekai Sensen was such a great show that I just figured I'd give her the award because
Right.
I mean all Aki Koshimbo did was Monogatari, so
All
Yeah.
of the Monogatari plus Kofuku Graffiti, which did not work out well.
yeah.
So unfortunate, but so Toast.
What? Oh.
You have something
Since
for
each
best
picked
director?
Onuma Shin, I'm going to pick
Okay.
my backup, who was
You can
Suda.
pick the same people,
No,
dude.
shut up. I don't wanna. Double dipping
Okay.
is gross, man. You don't double dip on a nice lady.
All right, keep going.
Mine is Suda Naokatsu.
Okay. Do you want to list 1 or 2 series he stuff in 2015?
He did JoJo.
Okay.
Man.
Well, that should say everything, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. Like
Yeah.
JoJo season 1 through 3 and 4 are fantastic. They have a lot of references, a lot of good animations and whatnot.
Mhm.
When I
Okay.
say it's JoJo, it's fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's made well. I definitely agree. Yeah. I think he did a good job
And he's also
helping piece
gonna
all of it together.
do part 4. Good for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, excellent. So next, actually, Kenton, sorry. Did you have a best director? Did you want to?
Uh, I wish I could give the award to the writer who did Iron Blood Orphans. I don't remember her name now.
Okay.
I can't really give it to her because I watched Canon, which she actually did the writing for, but that was many years ago. So I can't be like I'm gonna give it to her because of Canon, but she also did Iron Blood Orphans because I
Yeah.
haven't actually seen it,
Also,
so
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
do that.
Okay. So should we? Okay, so we'll move on to best studio then. And this best studio, I think people will dive a bit more with, just because of stuff that has been happening. Shaft not doing as well on the journey journey of enlightenment to find their 18 or their new 18. Manglip shutting down. Silver A1 Pictures not having the best time with their employees. so to say,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it's been an interesting year for a whole bunch of studios, as you know, as a lot of places go into the digital format, as Western localization intensifies, and so on. So best studio again in my book is one that does a lot of main series, does a decent amount of main series, and keeps up the audio visuals, and also chooses the right stuff. Not only in terms of having a good story, being a good series in general, but also the right tone, like or like sort of the right man being. The studio has to pick the right series for them, like Zebek, for instance. Zebek knows that they're not very good with some sort of like serious, grimy action mecha like ninja stuff, like Madhouse or Trigger or whoever it will be. So they stick to fan service. They stick to Ladies First Butlers. They stick to Kanakon. They stick to Nyaruko-san. They stick to these things that they know best, and that's fine for them because that's what they do. They're Zebek. They do fan service. So I think stuff like that is just very fitting for them. So in lieu of that, my award goes to A1 Pictures. And A1 Pictures this year has been very busy, as they have been, especially since 2014 or the beginning of 2014, when they started overworking their employees, unfortunately. But they've gone through a lot of stuff: Saikano, Cinderella Girls, Nanoha, Denpa Kyoshi, Gate Working, just so much stuff in the last like year or so. And but the good thing is they did keep a consistent effort in terms of the audio visuals. Some of it was a bit cutting corners, especially stuff like Saikano, where it was like 11 episodes and we're like, oh, it's done, bye. And we're like, what? Can we have a little bit more, please? Can we have some more? uh, and some of the others was, because of the money, they kind of all in on it, like Cinderella Girls. But even Cinderella Girls, they had to kind of split into 2 seasons. And there was some cutting of corners, but I think some of that can be attributed to the original material just not working out. So I still think A1 Pictures was the best overall studio of 2015 year.
I'm giving mine to Silverlink. Um, sort of for the same reasons you went with A1 Pictures is they put out a good like chunk of stuff and not all of it was good. Um, but they were in terms of audio visuals, they were very, very consistent and they were honestly like pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They did Fate Collide, they did Record Aikishi, uh, they did Shoma Sample, they did, I mean, No No Biori, they did Chaos Dragon, but, audio visually, they were consistent, and I think they came out, pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Toast. Toast is dead.
Mine,
Okay. Fair enough.
mine is gonna go to Studio Dean. God damn it, UFO table. Shh, leave me alone.
All right.
I meant UFO table.
The best movie studio, I am assuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are making all the movies.
One word. Unlimited Blade Works season 1 and 2. Not God Eater.
Okay. Not you're specifically not God Eater.
Yeah, God Eater, the unfinished product, just didn't happen.
That's probably
It's like Akinohana of
yeah,
UFO
man.
Table.
Like UFO table is pretty prevalent nowadays with like since Fate Zero and like Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works and whatnot. What else?
Do you have high hopes for their Tails anniversary anime that's coming out next year?
I mean, did you all the Tales animations that they've done since like forever? I've been always been very crisp and clean. So like
Okay.
I don't have any problems with that. All their
Mm.
cutscenes and whatnot are fine. And come on, it's dude, it's UFO table. They do really good fight scenes and really good CGI, man.
The
Except
thing
God
is,
Eater.
the thing is, you did say like the UFO table magic is still there to an extent, but after God Eater, it's kind and
Like I'm
after
saying,
the whole
that's probably their C or B team.
yeah.
It's definitely not their.
We don't know whether it's just like they need to clean up their act with their B team or whatever, or whether it's Cinderella
It's
slowly
definitely not.
ticking to midnight.
It's probably not their Fate Money team.
Probably not the Fate Money team.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh dear.
Definitely
Okay.
not the Tails Money team either. So
Not the tails. They just don't have any money. Like UFO table has this like huge like gold thing. It's like El Dorado, but none of it goes to God Eater.
whatever, man.
Jesus.
But
Year
yeah,
is becoming sadder as we speak, dude. Okay, we need to move on. Kenton.
Okay, since Toast said UFO table, which I knew was gonna get taken, mine goes to.
You can pick UFO
no,
table.
don't do that.
It's fine. No, it's fine because I'm fine with the one. This is what I was gonna go with anyway.
Okay.
So, production IG.
Oh, okay. So,
My
can
God.
you list like one or two or maybe two or three series that they did this year?
Um,
Let's see.
I don't even remember
hold on.
what they
Sorry.
did.
No, my mic died. Sorry.
Oh,
Um, what Okay, production IG. I think.
uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh
He has become the dead.
no! Oh
All right. So production IG. So actually did. Oopsie. So production IG actually did a couple of things this year. Ooh. A couple of things this year, and a lot of it.
Haikyuu. Woo! Haikyuu on every other sports show. Says
Yeah, they
Kenton.
did. They did most of the sports shows. I think they also worked with Zebek and Pokemon Origins apparently, but that's a bit earlier on. But yeah, they did most of the sports series, and I mean, production IG themselves is very like audiovisuals wise, they're very solid, especially when they do collaborations with the other studios. I think it works out very well. So, I
Hello.
think
Hello.
Kenton,
Hello.
you
Hi.
wanna,
Yes. Okay. Yeah, like
move
I
on?
was saying, production IG. Just they're mostly known for like. I mean, I know they help with other shows, but it seems like their main focus is always like every sports show that ever comes out.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean, really, like they've done Haikyuu, Baby Steps, Ace of Diamond, and just so many more. Just I don't know. Their sports shows are good, especially Haikyuu, because I am a fanboy and it's sad. It sounds terrible.
We've
And
all been a fanboy of a studio at some point.
yes, yeah, but it's like I don't know. I don't watch them because of sports, but uh, I did notice that they have a new show coming out in spring that's actually not a sports show, so I'm looking forward to see how that goes.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so with that settled, we're moving on to the 4 Fun Awards, and these are just some little awards that of our personal opinions. They're going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit of discussion for sure, but we'll see how it goes. So the first one we're going to go straight to is the biggest guilty pleasure. And by biggest guilty pleasure, it means a series that we've read or seen that we're just like, I know I hated on this. I know like I would probably be judging this right now, but I'm going through it anyways. It's so for mine, it's Shinmai Mao no Testament.
Oh my God!
Oh
Really?
my god.
I'm
Light
sorry.
novel, light novel, manga, or anime?
All of them actually.
Oh my
All of them.
God!
I'm sorry.
Like
So-
even I'm the one who's saying this. Inspired. You know how that's
I'm
bad.
so sorry. Okay, no. This is why it's my biggest. It's a confession. Okay, it's a church confession. So so Shema Mount the Testament. I know I'm like shitting on it. It's like it's bad, and it is fucking like not good. It's just not good. So it's weird because it's like it doesn't even have that much fan service compared to some of the stuff I like in terms of like harm or whatever. But it's just like the way it just like I don't know. Like I really like the childhood friend thing, competing with the main heroine constantly in the house for some reason, and I can't get away from that shit. And so I end up reading the light novel and the manga. Dude.
Even the spin-off manga.
Yes.
Oh my.
Like
Ah.
alternative story or whatever, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Oh, good. I feel so bad whenever I read that. But yeah, that's my biggest guilty pleasure. Yeah, the childhood friend, blue-haired childhood friend. They always fight with the. Yeah, shut up, Dom. Okay. What about you, Nier?
Mine,
I don't think anybody can beat my guilty pleasure right now.
yeah, you kind of just like blew everyone out of the water, to be honest. Mine's to Rolling Girls.
Rolling Girls isn't a guilty pleasure, dude. Come on now.
Rolling Girls isn't like that good though.
Yeah, it's pretty incoherent. It's like
Like,
it's like it tries to be like very like 90s reference and stuff, or like
yeah,
80s 90s reference. It's like
Rolling Girls isn't like a very good show, is the
yeah.
thing. But like, it was honestly one of my favorite shows of the year. But like, there was so much like bad with that show. Like just like the pacing, some of the sloppy animation. Like,
It tried to do action, but then it kind of like fell flat on his face, and it's like
yeah, and but like, but I liked it so much. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really explain my like for Rolling Girls because I know it's bad. But
dude, these words, man. Words, yeah, it's like these are words by themselves. We're confessing everything now at the fucking altar. Okay, toast.
Unlike you guys, I don't have anything I'm ashamed about. Well, except this
All
one
right, all
thing.
right, all right, all right. All right, what's this one thing?
There's this really crappy Chinese manga that I've been reading.
Yeah, the Naruto one.
It's called Tales of Demons and Gods. It is basically a super Chinese ripoff of Naruto and Bleach. Like, if you've seen it, like even a lot of the characters look similar to Naruto characters. Like the main character obviously looks like Naruto. His main
Mhm.
love interest is obviously Hinata. The other like love rival and whatnot is a fusion of Sakura and Hino. Ino.
Right.
His best friend is like Shikamaru. His main rival is basically Sasuke. It's really bad. But I was like,
Oh my god, dude.
I was
About
it's really
Naruto,
bad.
dude.
Yeah, it's all
About
like
Naruto.
I'm this lowest ranked demon spiritualist. But I become a super strong demon spiritualist in the future, and then I die to some sage emperor. But wait, I have this demon spiritualist like time demon magic book, whatever. And it takes me back 10 years to when I'm 12 or 13 years old. So now I get to live my life all over again, and I'm gonna become the
What?
great. I'm gonna become Hokage of this
What the fuck?
glorious
Like,
city, and
what's
I'm gonna
happening?
save everyone. And so like it's pretty bad.
All right.
You,
So,
you can read it for yourself. I linked it in chat. It's pretty bad. Like if you look at it, like the art style is very similar to Naruto or Bleach.
it's just that it's a huge fucking off. Yeah.
That it's like it updates twice a week, so it gives me like a five
Oh
second
baby.
reprieve of whatever I'm doing. Like I'll read the next chapter and whatnot.
All right.
And I
Ten, ten, ten.
and I
Huh?
read a lot of the light novels, so I'm pretty caught up. I mean,
You're
even the whole power level thing is bad. You've got like with Naruto, you got the ninja levels like Chunin, Chonin, or whatever.
Mhm.
You with Bleach, you've got like Shinigami, Captain, whatever, with the what Vizards, Quincy's, and Hollow, whatever. But
All the
then,
bleach stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, but they got them with weird power levels. Like you got like the bronze ranked demon spiritualist, and then like 1 to 5 star bronze, and then silver ranked 1 to 5, then gold ranked, black gold, legend,
Oh my
and
god.
it's like I don't even get it. I don't even get
All
these
right.
power levels. It's really bad, but I keep reading it because I'm bored and I have nothing better to do.
All right. Kenton. Biggest guilty pleasure.
Okay. Like I'm like Toast. I'm not really guilty about whatever I watch, but this is like the best place I could put this show. I chose Lance and Masks
Oh my
What?
god,
because,
dude.
dude,
What?
dude. Intro is so bad, but it's so fun to watch. I don't even care,
What the fuck?
dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. They are knights in normal time who act like Zoro and have giant lances. I don't even fucking care. It's hilarious and it's so bad. It will never be good, but I don't give a shit.
All right. Next
Inspires
is
his dog days if you didn't say it already.
no. It's not a pleasure for me. That's the difference. Like that's the biggest
But
reason.
you keep watching it.
It's a journey I have to finish. It
It's
is
like
not like
crack.
a
It's like crack
pleasure.
cocaine to you. You know it's bad for you, but
I'm
you're
like
addicted.
okay. I'm not addicted to it. I'm just like I have to fucking finish this. Like the completion in
You
this
can.
me and said in
That
me says
that's what a crack addict says about their last crack stone, man. I can
I
stop
have
at
to go.
any time, but I don't want to.
Oh my god,
You just
dude.
have to stop, man.
I just have to stop. Uh,
Do it for your
all
friends
right.
and family because we love you.
Oh Jesus. All right. Next is, and we're going to start naming these just because they're for fun awards. Next one is the Prison School Award for the most obnoxious series. Nier.
Oh man. Oh, I lost my place on my notes. I don't think I wrote one of these down. I'll just go with prison school then, cause fuck prison school. Prison school is shit.
Oh my god. Yeah. So we put. Yeah, I also put Prison School just because it's just so obnoxious. Like it's not even like humor at the point where it's just like they're just swinging everything random places, and it's like I don't know. It's just extremely like the humor itself usually misses this spot when it's not doing like random gags, and instead it's just like showing ass like an expanded like form across 2 pages, not even colored, and you know, Ken, most
Okay,
obnoxious
so
series.
my most obnoxious series. I was gonna choose Monster Musume, but I don't really think it's that
Oh
obnoxious.
shit!
No, I'm not. I was gonna choose that, but I'm not gonna choose that just because I think
I
it's not
think
really
Dom would have like
obnoxious.
spam chat if you had
He
done that.
probably would have. That's why I put it down earlier because I couldn't think of one. So I'm like, well, I'll just put that down to troll people.
Yeah.
But no, but okay. So my most obnoxious series that I gave it to is One Punch Man because it's
Don't
not.
put that's
Yeah,
not
it's
so.
obnoxious just because it's like. All right, here's my reasoning. Okay,
Okay, yeah, keep going.
my reason for that being obnoxious is not really the show itself, even though I don't particularly like it, and I've talked about it before, but. The reason I put that down obnoxious is because of the fan base. Holy
Oh
shit, the
yeah.
One Punch fan base is so bad.
But Kenton,
One
you just
punch.
don't get the joke, man.
He's a man who can kill stuff in one punch. I don't
You
fucking
just
care.
You
don't
don't
get
get
the
it,
joke,
man.
He's a
man.
it's a parody
It's the
of
joke. He's
superheroes.
supposed to be boring, man. You just don't get it.
Yeah, I understand that it's a parody and it's supposed to suck. What do you want me to tell you? Like
I'm gonna change mine
Okay,
to One Punch
toast.
Man as well.
Look, I honestly don't
Alright.
hate One Punch Man. It's just I find One Punch Man better in GIF form. I don't feel like watching the entire show just to be like, oh man, look at the animation on that GIF, and then I'm like, okay, I'm fucking bored. I don't like. I get that it's supposed to parody superheroes and stuff, but you can only go so far. I mean, I don't. It's the same thing with the manga too. Look at this sweet chapter, and then you take those pages and you turn it into a GIF, and it goes together. Yay! I fucking hate
Uh,
the fan base.
Jesus. Toast.
Mine goes to wait. What was it? What one is this again? Prison school.
Most obnoxious.
It's Chinese manga that I've been reading. Tales of Demons and Gods.
Okay. That's fine.
God.
Do you want to just give it to the Chinese ripoff, or like what are you doing?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Bronze, silver, gold, black, gold, legend, demon rank spiritualist.
Grandmaster Diamond. These
Yeah.
are like fucking like league
Yeah,
league
there was
tiers.
also like blue. There was also that's like their basic power rankings, but they also have different levels of spiritual power, and then ranked by color. Like you got a red sea soul realm, you suck. You got an
Uh,
orange one, you're slightly better. You got a yellow, it goes in like man, it
Wait,
goes.
are these like fucking belts, like martial arts belts now? What the
Oh,
fuck?
I think it goes in the
Yeah.
rainbow, like red, orange, yellow, whatnot. But these are these determine your basic stats. Like if you got a red sea soul realm, you're never gonna get to
Purple or whatever. Yeah.
one rank bronze demon spiritualist with the soul power level of 100. Idiot.
Idiot. Anybody knows that.
You need at least a blue green or a green soul sea realm to reach what bronze one rank
Oh my
gold
god.
demon spiritualist.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
It's like I don't get it because you
Yeah.
have really
The power
obnoxious names.
levels. Why? Yeah. Okay. So next is the Bible Thump Award for the angstiest or the most dramatic series. Retweet if you cry every time. And this, I don't think, needs much of an explanation, but mine goes to Owari no Seraph, or Seraph of the End. If you've seen the opening for Owari no Seraph, and I've shown you this, it's already pretty fanfiction, heavy as it is. The premise itself is already slightly bad. It's about two best friends separated when they were kids, and one has become a vampire, and the other one has become a vampire hunter, and now they must fight each other. And as you can imagine, this leads to a lot of anguish. Must I kill my friends? I am a handsome black-haired man who must kill the other Bishonen who is white-haired
Do they
and a
love each other?
vampire. They love each other very much. One holds a sword, the other bites people. And yeah, I don't know what to say. I have to read more on fanfiction.net for that for the updates. But that's my award. Year.
Um, I gave mine to Plastic Memories.
Plastic memories.
Um, pretty much because that show that show is like sad, but I feel like the actual like sad drama in Plastic Memories is very predictable and kind of forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it? Was it the first episode that had where like the guy's first job was taking the robot daughter away from the elderly grandma, and it's like fuck, man,
Like
like
why?
why would you like that's so just like needlessly like look at how sad this is, and it's
It's
like
really sad, dude.
like yeah, it's sad. I teared up, but it's like looking back on it, it's like, did you really need to do that to make me sad? Like, no, not really. And it just feels like really forced and kind of needless. So that's why
Okay.
I'm putting Plastic Memories.
All right. Kenton.
My Bible Thump Award. I'm gonna try to talk about it without actually spoiling it because I feel like it's a good reason to watch the show. Um, Mine goes to a scene like an ending scene towards the end of Gakko.
Okay.
Something happens to one of the characters, and this is very embarrassing to talk about, but not really. I was watching it at work, and then it happened, and I started crying at my machine because I was sad. It's really hard for me to talk about because I really don't want to spoil it, but if you've seen Gakko, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. And Toast.
Which one was this again?
Most dramatic.
Most angstiest, dramatic, whatever.
hmm, I don't think I have one.
you want to pass? It's fine if you do.
I'm trying to think of one. No, 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 no. No, I don't have one.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm
Next
not.
is
There is no. I cry every time seeing that did not touch. That did not make me feel bad.
yeah.
There,
Toast doesn't retweet anything. He's just like, no, not
yeah,
sad
man.
enough.
Like, if you've seen Clannad after story, bam. There's nothing that can top that. Bam.
Once Ushio dies, it's over. No more sadness.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Did I spoil for everybody? It's over.
Oh no! Spoiled this super old anime that
It's all good.
everybody's.
I'm sorry.
My Bible thumbing award goes to Spire for being a dick.
Yeah, I'll just leave this podcast now. It's over, guys.
This
I'm
fucker.
sorry.
Good riddance.
All right. Next award, Kriasm Award for series pretending to be really deep. And this is just like this is an award that I made that's slightly different from what we have for the most dramatic or the most obnoxious, where it's just like a series that like people are like either praising it or it pretends to ask these big questions and do all these things, and then it kind of ends up being like a regular rom-com or like a slapstick or just not answer the questions or just do some silly shit. And I gave my award to Charlotte, the original award created by Jin Maeda 2015. And honorable mention, of course, Durarara season 2. So Charlotte, a lot of people are like, wow, it's so deep. Jin Maeda's made a comeback. Maybe the pacing isn't as good, but then it defies moe anime tropes. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it doesn't defy any moe anime tropes. All the girls in there are like like supposed to be all cute and like attractive or whatever. And it's just like it tries to do this like thing where they get this sort of the criminals who are the people with the powers, the kids with the powers who are about supernatural powers that it will run out soon, and they get them to kind of rehabilitate the other kids with the supernatural powers, and it goes on in more or less sort of episodic thing. And the questions, the themes that sort of so Jun Maeda especially has this thing where he kind of wants to put a theme into stuff. That is, for Little Busters, it would be family. For I guess no, sorry. For Clannad, it would be family. For Little Busters, it would be something like relationships or like just everyday life. For Rewrite, want to skip?
Angst series pretending to be really deep. This Chinese
Yeah.
manga that I've been reading.
All right, that's fine.
You...
We'll move on. We'll move on. You
Black
explain.
Gold Demon Rank Spiritualist fighting a Snow Sakura Demon Spirit. It's like
Alright.
with this heavenly god cultivation technique and 9 revolving ice phoenix and lightning thunder wind dragon technique, and it's like
Lightning, Thunder, Wind Dragon.
your
It's
names
like
are too
Yu-Gi-Oh
hard,
now.
man.
All right, next award is going to be one of the more interesting awards in the for fun category, the Sword Art Online Award for series with the most obnoxious black-haired swordsman premise. So, as we know, in recent years there has been a whole bunch of series, light novel, manga, not so much visual novels, but in anime adaptations and so on, that have a lot of these black-haired swordsman who gets powers nobody else can dream of, and then rushes through people, killing them or beating them without hurting them, whatever, and becomes the most powerful swordsman in the academy. So, my pick was Second Sky no World Break, Second Sky no World Break, which was a series where people get these supernatural powers. Actually, I actually can't describe this well enough without bringing up the actual wiki summary of it. This is how ridiculous it is. Oh, the English name for it is World Break Aria of Curse for Holy Swordsman. It is literally called the Aria of Curse for a Holy Swordsman.
Is it related
When you
to
think
Hida
that-
no Aria?
Dear God, I hope not. But yeah, when you think this is not fan fiction enough,
Oh,
So
oh, this?
yeah,
Oh,
okay. So no.
God.
Okay. So they go. It's an academy setting, and each individual has a supernatural power that is foreign from whatever their past lives were, and they are obviously classified into black white depending on whether the past lives are evil or good or whatever it is. Now, this
Oh
here,
God. Poor
I like how
Anna with two A's and Ma Anna with two A's. What?
no, okay,
Whoa, that's just obnoxious.
yeah. So, so now this protagonist, which who has a black sword and is black haired, has not only one past life to rely upon, he has two past lives. So he
Oh
has
man, he's two
double the
people.
powers.
He's two people.
No, he has
Whoa.
double the powers because he remembers two past lives at the same time. And not only that, because he has two past lives, two girls in the same class are trying to warm up to him to seduce him and do stuff. Now look at this. Okay, so I'm gonna read this, and this is the Wikipedia summary of this. Oh my god. Okay, I can't. Okay. All right. He is very dependent. So this is the description of the protagonist. He is very dependable, although he gets embarrassed easily when teased. He has two past lives. The first being a Shirogane named Flaga, who was
Oh
in love with
boy.
Satsuki's previous incarnation, Sarasha, despite being her brother. And the second being a Kuroma named Shusara, who was in a relationship with Shizuna's previous incarnation. And Satsuki and Shizuna are the two girls that he is in love with. Due to having memories of both lives, he's known as an ancient dragon and is both Shirogane and a Kuroma.
An ancient dragon.
His sword is a Saratiga, which is a straight katana, while as a Kuroma, his dark art is a black Gehenna that he infuses into his sword to maximize his destructive capability. Golly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
His,
Yeah.
his other abilities include his dark art is the Ouroboros, which is a water spell that allows him to flood vast areas of water. It also allows him to walk on water as well, and the Gorikitsu, which allows him to maximize his prana. It's later revealed that the ancient dragon is actually a metaphysical that is cursed to follow him throughout his existence from the time of the first encounter. And yes, this is the summary of the protagonist.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Welcome to the modern era, gentlemen. Nier. Yes,
Uh, well, I don't think I can top that.
I shouldn't have gone first. I should have gone last, actually. I
I
should.
put, I put Utsugi Lenka from God Eater, which is the main
Mhm.
character of God
Yeah,
Eater,
yeah.
who also has black hair. He is
Mhm.
also a swordsman. He is kind of a funny example of this, I guess, because uh, the main character of the God Eater anime, as I've said before, does not show up in the games whatsoever. He's a completely new character, even though they already had an established canon main character for the game. But anyway, he's the first of what's like called a new type, which is basically like someone who can transform their sword into a gun at will and vice versa and yada yada yada.
Rare.
It's basically like setting up God Eater's main like gameplay mechanic or whatever. But he's the first of these new types, and he's supposed to be this super like duper strong like monster killing badass guy, but they try to train him right,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a complete idiot and like decides to instead of going training he just goes and fights real monsters anyway, and he gets his fucking ass pushed in, and then he gets fucking arrested for disobeying orders, and then the only way for him to not be like exiled or whatever is to go fight more monsters again without training, and then he continuously gets his ass pushed in by bigger and bigger monsters, yet he's supposed to be this super powerful like new like what? Why is he so shitty? It's so stupid. I hate God Eater.
God Eater, classic. It'll become a masterpiece passed on to the generations.
Maybe if it actually gets finished.
Toast.
I can't get
Diablo?
mine goes to the dude from Asterisk. I don't even remember his name. I don't even care anymore. Because why would I watch Asterisk when I can watch Rakudai Kishi, which is better in every possible way? Because
Okay.
it's not harem, it's a romance. Like it takes 3 episodes for the main dude and the main chick to get together, and it's like, they're damn done. Already already better than any other Kiritos of this season.
The other Kiritos.
It's like what Asterisk is pretty bad. It's harem, and when it doesn't need to be a harem, it's nonsensical. It's not even doesn't even have the sweet fight scenes that Rakudai Kishi has. It's terrible.
Kenton, do you have take
Um,
this?
okay, this probably isn't fair because I only watched one episode, but that was enough for me to know that it's Tao copy garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I get even though the main character does not have black hair, he's still generic as fuck. I give it to Asterisk
Yeah.
because that
Yeah,
shit is just fucking so generic. It's unreal. Like you can watch the first episode and probably guess how the story's gonna go. I mean, it's so bad. Like it's not bad. It's just really copy paste. That's all.
Top.
Oh god. All right. So the final 4 fun awards is the One Punch Man award for most overrated series. And by most overrated, you can kind of give whatever metrics you want, whether it's Twitter stuff, BD sales, light novel sales, whatever, hype, um, stuff like that. But then tell us why you think it's overrated, why it's not that good, so on and so forth. My award for most overrated series actually goes to Oregairu, or Yahari Ore no Seishun Love Kome ga Machikatteiru, also known in English as expected, my love comedy is different. My youth love comedy is different. And it's a very popular series. It's a very popular series, and it got tops in light novel sales rankings. It has a whole bunch of money. It's doing 2 seasons, so on and so forth. It's just, I mean, people are like, "Oh wow, Hachiman is such a good protagonist." I disagree. Hachiman is not a good protagonist in what people in the reasons why people think they are. So people are like, "Oh, Hachiman is like sulky and he does stuff that's not like a regular protagonist through determination or whatever," and that makes a good protagonist because he's unique. And that's not how the series works. And it becomes even clearer when you go through the novel and then as well as the anime, and you find out. I mean, yeah, the Hachiman as a protagonist is sulky, but the only times when he does smart stuff is when the plot has dallied long enough and the plot has
Why not?
fucked around enough people or fucked up enough people, and the plot decides, hey, we need to start progressing it. We need to start resolving the story, and that's when Hachiman becomes a start. There's no rhyme or reason to whenever he becomes smart, as there should be if he was actually smart. Like, he should be like, oh, there's this problem going on. I should solve it, or I should take these steps before it goes out of hand. No. What happens is that the mess becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then Hachiman, whenever people are growing angsty enough, he's just like, oh, I'll magically solve everything. And then he just goes and says the exact right things and solves whatever. Which is like, that's not a good protagonist. That's a walking Deus Ex Machina. That's a walking plot solver. That doesn't give me a sense of, oh wow, the protagonist is really good. It just gives me a sense of this protagonist is being used to solve, this volume's problems whenever it reaches a climax of angst. So in that sense, I definitely don't think that Origairu is a good series, and this problem becomes worse as the volumes go on, as the anime goes on, and it's very evident. So I honestly don't really get the popularity behind this, other than, oh wow, the protagonist is so unique because he's angry instead of happy all the time. So that's who I give my most overrated awards to. Year.
I had a tough time with this, deciding between One Punch Man, obviously, and Umaru. Um, Purely because they both had an extremely large amount of like coverage on social media and just like, you know, oh, you gotta watch this. It's so good. And I think I'm gonna go with One Punch Man just because it's like
But Nier, you just don't get it.
I just don't get it, dude.
We have I think our podcast has this environment of not liking One Punch Man. And
I
I
like
mean,
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man isn't bad.
bad.
It's just like
I think we all agree that it's not bad.
it's not a
Definitely.
bad series. I just feel like it misses the mark so hard. And like
Yeah, that's true.
when I see so many people just being like, "You gotta watch this. It's so amazing," and I'm just like, it's boring to me. I just like, I don't like the main character, and like all the other, if any other any other of the side characters was the main character, I'd be like all over One Punch Man. Like it'd be
Honestly, like
a great action series.
what confuses me the most about One Punch Man is like the One Punch appeal or whatever is I don't get what One Punch Man or I don't get what Saitama does that like just Medaka didn't do in Medaka Box. Because like Medaka,
She's not bald.
she's not Paul. Yeah, she didn't do
She
100
doesn't end
push-ups every
things
day
in a punch. She just
Yeah.
copies other people's move with their
and
sweet.
just destroys them utterly. Yeah. But it's
And
I don't know,
Madaka, she's lost some fights.
yeah,
When,
that's true. She's actually lost fights. It's unfortunate.
I just don't
Okay.
get. I just don't get it.
Don't
Can
get
you draw Medaka's faces on eggs? No.
it. No.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
No, you can't.
GG.
Can you make dank memes about Medaka Box?
Nope, you
I
can't
don't
make
think
dank
so.
memes.
Guys, you're
Sorry.
making me so sad. Bye, my
Well,
phone.
maybe you should get more dank meme spire.
All right, Kitten. What'd you put for most overrated series? I know you should have one.
I mean, I put down One Punch Man because I mean, I don't know. I was gonna put Monster Musume again, but I just don't think that's as bad as One Punch Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
there's nothing worse this year and that's overrated than that. So
Okay. Yeah. And again, we should repeat when we say most overrated, we don't necessarily mean that the series itself is like overall bad. It's just that it got much more hype than we thought it deserved. Toast.
Overrated?
Yes, overrated. Not bad. Overratedness. I mean, if it was bad and people were like, it's bad, like that's not overrated.
So I don't think I have one either.
Okay.
I can't give it the Concoy because it's got mixed to negative reviews. So it's definitely not overrated.
Okay. All right. So we'll go into
No,
the
yeah,
overall.
I like all my series.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I like all my series.
Toast is a very kind person. He likes all his series.
Oh no,
So-
no. Prison School. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good.
Because like one of my friends like back like I don't like Prison School at all. I don't find it very funny. But like one of my friends loves it, and he's all like, "You gotta read Prison School. It's basically, it's got the same level of comedy as Cromartie, but with like girls and stuff." And I was like, man, I don't like that. Or I don't like that nipple hair arm tournament, or the booty sweat in the eyes, or the nipples touching the
also-
eyes, or like
I've
the
also heard
peeing
of
stuff.
some people I've also heard of some people trying to compare it to Black Lagoon. I'm like, no,
No,
let's
don't do
not.
What?
what?
No,
And
that's
like and like
type
the
of humor to Black
and
Lagoon. I'm
like
like,
the
no,
30
it's not.
chapters where like they were Hana and Kiyoshi were 69ing each other.
Yeah.
Well, and like there's something about a Medusa and a rocket, something, and it's like Hana was all like, "You saw me pee, so I know I need to see you pee," and then like Kiyoshi ends up peeing on her again or something, and it's like, don't do that. No, I'm not
Don't.
Spire. I don't like pee.
Wow, dude, why you gotta call me out like that? Excuse me.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, I'll go through this goal. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like some of it was funny, like the one where boobs versus butt. That was funny. I like that one. Oh no, I get it. It's funny when the boys are doing boy things. That's why. Like when the girls do stuff, it's just no, it's just rude and crude and lewd. I don't like that. Once the boys just doing like boy stuff, like talking about butts and stuff, uh,
So,
and one
all
like
right.
wet T-shirt contest, I'm like, we gotta get out of here so we can see the wet T-shirt contest and whatnot. I like the boys' interaction. That's where it's funny, but the girls' interaction, it's just no,
Okay.
no.
That's fine. All right. So with that, we'll move on to. I'm sure you guys all enjoyed the most overrated series, whether you got extremely happy over it or extremely angry over it. Either way, uh, with that amount of salt left aside, we'll move on to our last stretch, which is the overall awards, and this is just best manga, best anime, stuff like that. And this will be starting off with best manga or webcomic of the year. So my best.
Spire's best manga award goes to trash.
Wow, dude, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you? All right, all right. My actual answer is Yusha Goju Kumiai Korigata Keijiban, also known as Hero Union BBS or Hero Union Message Board. And the basic premise is a whole bunch of heroes from the past, future, other world, alternate worlds, etc., with various experiences, get together in a message board and talk about their experiences. And this sounds very like surreal and very like clusterfuck and very like confusing at first. And it is slightly confusing because it just throws like the artist just throws the viewer into in media res, where like the conversations are just happening and they have been happening for like years. Um, but once you get used to the characters, once you get used to the conversations, what they're talking about, I just think it's very like the comedy is there. The characters set themselves up for unique personalities. There's like a history behind like the characters and the worlds they set up. There's an overarching like continuity to what the characters do and how the characters react. There's each episode is really like interesting, like funny. Like they're like unique stories about like how heroes are getting stuck in like a well, or wow, I like uh I'm getting frustrated because I've been through all these, fantasy action worlds as a hero, but every time I went to a world, I had to eventually return as a normal human being. So now I don't have a job because I've been a hero in all these worlds for too long, like stuff like that. And they're very interesting stories. Um, but yeah, just the addition of the stories, the comedy, the art is pretty decent. It's not the best, but I can definitely forgive it for having the format that it does, the story that it does. And overall, I just think this was the best series, or best manga at least, that I've read this year, and that was updated this year. Nier.
Can I give it to Berserk?
Yeah.
For getting off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
forgive you this time.
I give it to Berserk. Berserk's
Alright,
pretty good, dude.
fresh off the boat.
Please, please, no more
Fresh.
delays. Please. Ah!
Summer, man, summer.
Nier's award section is a plead. It's no longer an award section. It's just like a beg, like
Please
begging.
please give me more Berserk, Miura.
Please.
I'll be good. I promise.
All right, Kenton.
Mine. I'm gonna give mine to Shiori's experience. I believe that's what it's called.
Sure. Oh, is that the one with the
That's the one where Jimi
the
Hendrix
guitar?
is like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where he's like reincarnated in her and stuff like that.
All right, that one. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's fun. Yeah, like I said, she wanted to play music when she was young, and then one day she's just like she's like haunted by Jimi Hendrix, and then he's kind of helping her get back into music, and then when he has to, he like plugs in a guitar, the guitar cord into her neck, and then he kind of like takes over. Then she'll play Jimi Hendrix style music, and then it's her trying to build a band and all that stuff. It's just really fun, and it helps that I like Jimi Hendrix. So
Right. Okay. Toast.
Was Wakabayashi Toshi's 4 collection this year?
I think it updated a lot this year, so that's fine. Like you can choose it if you want. So you want to choose that, the Young Comic Collection?
No, I'm gonna choose Sure Zure Children,
Series or Children.
which
Okay.
is the serialization of that manga.
Oh, okay.
It's just a bunch of 4 about boys and girls attempting to talk to each other because they like each other, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
No, I'm
Okay,
just
so
kidding.
are you
Oh
serious?
my god.
I'll give it to I'll give it to that because
All right,
it's just a
all
pretty
right.
good like reprieve.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
really need to think about it. It's just like this chick.
It's the
It's
Young
just
Comic.
like this
It's
chick or this dude likes this other chick or this dude, and they're both different, and they just try to awkwardly express their feelings toward one another in many different situations. And they got a lot of variety of different couples and whatnot. It's just a fun thing to read.
yeah.
Uh,
I really do like the art in that too. So
Near knows because I send him images of it all the time. Yeah, so many
oh
good
yeah.
reaction images from it. It's great.
Okay. So we'll move on to back to anime this time. Best overall soundtrack. And this will have the same sort of, or for me again at least, it has the same sort of rubrics as the opening did. It needs to be good or good. Like obviously, it can't just be like random shit hitting the fan. It needs to uh, be unique or original if it does have like a unique tone. Uh, Something I would add for the original soundtrack is it needs to fit the tone of the series. So what I mean by that is you can't just have like EDM or whatever or like dubstep in the middle of some sort of like very quiet slice of life series. That's a very silly example, but there's stuff that's much more subtle in tone. For instance, in Hyoka for with Kyoani, Hyoka relied on a lot of classical music pieces, a lot of natural sound stuff, a very uh, sort of xylophone slash like marimba sort of ding 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 like sort of percussive sounds, small minimalist percussive sounds, because a lot of it was based upon like thinking and quiet sort of pondering and just sort of being in school just after school. It wasn't like much, so it was a very minimalist soundtrack, and that worked fine for it. Kyoso Giga from Kyo, or excuse me, from Toei Animation was this crazy, fantastical, otherworldly, you know, experience. And like Ri Kugamiya was flying around everywhere with her fucking colored hammer and like beating down stuff. And there's this huge orchestral soundtrack, blaring out with brass everywhere, and it also fit that theme. So I think a really good original soundtrack needs to fit that sort of stuff. And my award for best original soundtrack or best overall original soundtrack goes to Shokugeki no Soma.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
with
Explain
honor,
yourself.
with honorable mentions to Hibiki Euphonium and
Yeah, because that's the one I
and
thought you'd choose. Hibiki Euphonium.
yeah. So Hibiki Euphonium did have a nice tone. Kyoani always does fit it nicely. But what I found really enticing about Shokugeki no Soma is like it fits the scene. The parts where it's supposed to give tension, like the battle arenas and stuff like that. It does provide uh, like the given tension with like the regular beats, the bass, stuff like that. But it also each theme, each track, if you've ever gone to like the soundtrack and like listened to it, each track is also like very like thematic. So it's like if it's like the Italian dude, it'll have like this like Italian like like sort of theme, like European kind of theme. If it's like the guy who like does the smelling of the spices in the curry or whatever, right? It'll have this like sort of Indian like parallel fifths, like sort of like music kind of thing going on, like almost cheesy Bollywood stuff. And it'll use like different instrumentation, and it'll go the full 9 yards. And so I really like sort of the variety it gives. I really do like that it does fit the tone, that it does like give tension. Uh, I do like that it's creative and it does have a solid melody for each track. So I think out of all the soundtracks that I've listened to, I think sorry, I think Shokugeki no Soma definitely deserves my award for best overall OST. Nier.
I'm giving mine to Kekai Sensen
Okay.
or Blood
Blood Blockade.
Blockade Battlefront, right?
Blood Blockade
Um,
Battlefront.
Yeah. Because like this is a lot of like a very jazzy soundtrack, and it
Hmm.
goes from like basic conversations will have just normal like smooth jazz playing. Uh, the more actiony scenes will kick it up, and there will be a very fast paced, upbeat, you know, saxophone going, and just like really really good. Then like more emotional scenes will be more of a melodic like ballad, but it's still like jazz, and it's like it's a really good like uh mix of like tones, but it's
Hmm.
still like all the jazzy theme, and
I
I think
also do like how it's more standard, but I do like how they decided to go with jazz with the urban theme
yeah,
instead of more like modern, like sort of hip hop or EDM or whatever stuff.
yeah, I thought it was really really good.
All right. So Kenton.
Um, what did I just said UBW because I couldn't think of anything.
Okay. No, it has a good soundtrack.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only one that I could think that was really notable that I actually, I actually paid attention to. I guess because
Okay.
most of the time I don't really pay attention to the background music, but
Right, right. For this one, it does stick. Did stick out to you.
yeah, because a lot of it, like especially with the battle scenes and stuff, it flows really well and all that stuff. So
Okay. All right. So and Toast, of course.
I can't give it to anyone other than Unlimited Blade Works. 'Cause it's so good.
All
No,
right.
I mean to expand on what Kenton said, like other than the battles, like the battle scene, the main, each character has their own like specific, like theme with goes with it, and it gives off a different tone. Like Archer's is this deep, dark, mysterious person, and like if you listen to his theme, there's this like thumping in the background, like with electric guitar.
Mhm.
Like he's got the electric guitar strumming. Then like after that, there's this 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 like thud thing. And if you listen to it closely, it sounds similar to like a hammer hitting an anvil. And like
Ah, okay.
it's a very good
It's like detail here.
it's a very good interlude of who Archer really is and what his power is. And like if
Hmm.
you listen to Rin's, it's pretty upbeat with a lot of violins and
Right, the Ojo-sama
pretty
violins.
no.
The Ojo-sama violins.
It's not Ujo-sama violence. It's like very determined because Rin is a very determined person who wants to win this one. And then if you listen to Shiro's theme, which finally appears at like the end of season 2, it's the classic Emiya theme. But this one has a lot of like this one sounds very hopeful and whatnot because it's not it's different from all like the millions of Emiya remixes. This one has its own unique theme where Archer's is like brute, dark, and mysterious, and foreboding and whatnot.
Right,
Shiro's
right.
theme is very hopeful and like you could believe you can do anything with it, whatnot.
Hmm.
It's just so good, man. Fukasawa's so good. Freaking Maho, his like people have complained about how like oh this isn't God dang it. Why am I blanking? This isn't what's the person who did Zeros?
Ah,
Why am I blanking?
fuck. I don't know, dude.
Wow, you're gonna make me look this up. Oh my god.
Why am I blank? Yuki Kaijura. It's not Yuki Kajiura's with
Yuki
her vocal
Kajiura,
soundtracks
yeah.
and whatnot, but it's definitely there in the ending. Like they definitely
right,
have a
right.
point there, but it's like Yuki Kajiura is not the focus. It
Mhm.
makes more sense for Zeros because it's very it's not very gamey. It has a lot of it doesn't need a lot of vocals. It's the original work is very gamey, and Fukusawa does really well. If you listen to Maruyo, he's fantastic. And I'm glad that this is gonna anger a lot of people, but I'm glad that it's not Yuki Kajiura because a lot of vocal things do
Mhm.
not fit Unlimited Blade Works or the Fate Routes scenes.
You
Well,
like it kind of silent,
I like it more actiony and gaming. I don't need
the
Yuki
vocals.
Kajiura's. Like it,
Okay.
Yuki Kajiura is more suited for like a drama or a television or like a drama series, which Fate Zero was. It's not for
Mhm.
Unlimited Blade Works. It's more action.
Okay. All right.
It's so good.
Yeah, I mean Yuki Kajiura definitely. I have a lot of respect for that composer, so definitely a good choice. Now, oh, best visuals. So we've
I'll
gone
go
over
first.
audio. Now,
I'll go first. Unlimited Blade Works.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. We
And
don't need to explain that.
runner up is JoJo. Yeah, I took it.
Okay. Nier.
Really? JoJo?
What do
I
you get?
mean, JoJo had a good style, but I don't know if I
Yeah,
was
I
like.
like the stylized visuals of it. What are you gonna say? Near God Eater?
Yes.
I'll
Maybe.
take that as yes.
No, no.
Okay.
God
Done.
Eater's fucking kind of ugly, to be honest. Um, I was gonna say Fate Stay Night UBW, but I did
Let's
have.
say it.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that Fate Stay Night UBW was the best looking show this year. It's pretty
Okay.
obvious. Don't need to
Okay.
say, but I did have a runner up,
Okay.
which was Little Witch Academia Mahou
Yeah,
Shikai
that's a
no
good one.
Parade,
Uh-huh.
But
which
what about Ninja Slayer near?
I picked because
Keep going.
if Toast would shut the fuck up, I picked it because Little Witch Academia really shows what Trigger can do when they actually like A have a budget and B try.
Try.
Like like Little Witch Academia looks so good and it's so fluid and it's like all hand done and it's
Right.
just
Right.
it's like fantastic. It's amazing.
And then
And then
they
they
do
turn
Ninja Slayer.
around and they do something like Ninja Slayer and it's like like why? Dude,
They spent all their money. They spent all their money localizing, or they spent all their money in the marketing campaign. They just didn't have enough money for the animation. They were all like, "Yeah, Western artists made this."
like Trigger just upsets me so much because they can do such amazing, amazing animation, but they just don't.
Near. Can you say that they triggered you?
Die.
Wow. Okay, we're moving on. Kenton. God damn it,
Well,
Toast.
clearly UVW. So I'm gonna talk
Okay.
about I guess my honorable mention is probably Haikyuu, just because it's so clean. Like I don't know, it's just very clean, and it kind of almost has like a kind of like a brushstroke kind of style that goes with it.
Mhm.
But I just think it looks so clean. 'Cause wasn't the artist for that like a hentai artist as well or something? Uh,
I forgot.
I think
Haikyuu?
so. Yeah.
No. She was caught. No, one of the Haikyuu artists was caught for doing these for for putting out yaoi like hentai on her
No.
Twitter or something like
Oh,
that.
you don't do that.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
it.
and then
That's
she
what it
got
is.
like kicked out. Yeah.
But I don't know. It just it's very clean, and uh, I don't know. Like, but it's hard to compare to UBW
I
at this
think the
point.
one
So
you're thinking
Yeah,
of is
it is
probably
pretty.
the one you're thinking of is probably Shokugeki no Soma.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Yeah.
that one was obviously, but
Tosh.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
of course,
It's just
Fire knows.
Please. Okay.
yeah.
But
Who's
yeah,
yours,
okay.
Fire?
Mine is actually Fate Kalei Liner Prisma Ilya.
What?
Honorable mentions to Kofka Graffiti and
Okay.
K Project.
So
But yeah,
really,
Ilya
really,
just
Ilya?
yeah, Ilya. Um,
Whatever, man.
honestly, honestly, the best like animations I've seen from Silverlink since like really forever, honestly. But yeah, even like maybe except for maybe Bakuto Test, but Bakuto
Maybe,
Test had
maybe.
very unique.
What about C3?
C3 tried to copy Bakuto Test's like animation, like art style or like cuts and stuff to an extent, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't as successful. It was too focused on like just getting the battle scenes out, and even the battle scenes definitely weren't as good as something like Ilya's. So I definitely think Ilya just did a hugely like great job with the battle scenes, with like the particle effects and stuff like that. Just and the frames, just not just being like, oh, 5 frames and all the dust is cleared. Like action, like doing the sword swinging and going through the motions and stuff. It just did everything really well. So it goes to Ilya, and with that, we are down to our last 3 awards, which will be the first of which is the biggest disappointment. So the
Here we
biggest,
go. Here we go. Here we go.
so the biggest disappointment being the series that you thought was going to be great. You got it all set up, and you said, okay, well, what could go wrong, right? Or maybe in the back of your mind, you're like, oh shit, maybe this is probably not a good idea actually. And then you saw it, and it didn't pan out. My biggest disappointment was Grisaya no Kujitsu, or The Fruit of Grisaya. Honorable mentions to Kofka Graffiti, Charlotte, and Working Season 3.
That's a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah, there's a lot of disappointments. But The Fruit of Grisaya, as the visual novel, I honestly think it's one of my more top visual novels, like period, out of the ones that I've read in my entire list. And it just sets the pacing very well. It really goes into physical problems and kind of takes time to deal with the physical problems as well as the character development. It's just an overall very well thought out series, except for a couple of flaws where the villains and the antagonists and stuff like that are not very well thought out. But other than that, like the main characters themselves, are very like the development is just so good. But in the anime, they just cut all that down. They didn't know what was going on. They like had 2 or 3 episodes just on like the introduction, and then they spent like 2 episodes on one entire like arc or one entire like heroine, and then they moved on to something else, and then they tried to tie it all together, and then they try to cover all the different heroines arcs together at the same time. And I was like, you could have just gone on one heroine's route, or maybe you could have just done part 2 and just kind of separated the 5 heroines or something. But to do this, to really like mangle a visual novel plot so badly in an anime adaptation, that if I were to watch this Grisaya no Kujitsu anime without having seen the visual novel, I'd be like, this is crap. Like, why would I watch this? But to know that the visual novel is super good, and then the anime is like just bad, like so poorly paced, so poorly directed, it just really hurts me. So that's where my award goes to. I'm not gonna go to near first this time. Toast. Is it the K word? Is it the K word? Toast.
Yeah, it's definitely Charlotte. No, of course
What?
not. It's Contact Collection.
It is Kantai Collection.
Do I have to explain why it's so bad?
I think we did an entire podcast on this, but you can give like a very brief summary of it. Very brief
No, I don't.
summary.
I don't want to.
All right, I'll give a brief
I
summary of it.
still get stomach ulcers thinking about it. Like right now, it's like
Yeah,
I get
we have we
there's this tension in the pit of my stomach whenever I look at the Concoli anime that I just can't get rid of. It's just like
so as we discussed in the podcast, it's entirely dedicated to Concoli actually in the aftermath. It didn't balance between the fan service or the historical battle as well. It didn't resolve, what kind of relationship Conqueror had with the historical battles and the fate and the fate of the ships. It didn't really resolve well the question of having the admiral, not kind of invisible or not invisible, but like not present in the scenes. The character development was good, but there were some sort of pacing issues. So Conqueror, unfortunately, toast. Need I say more? All right, we'll move on to Kenton.
It hurts,
Kenton,
man.
biggest disappointment.
Okay.
I believed it would be the one that would save. I believe that it would be the one to bring balance to the force. It did not.
Okay.
You were the chosen
Okay.
one.
I have to preference this by saying I'm not really disappointed by like anything just because I don't go in with high expectation anyway. And if I don't like it, then I just drop it really quick. But I put down Concolay, and I'm going to explain why. Okay,
Fuck.
just listen. All right, there is okay. The things that I like about Concolay is actually when they go out and they're forming their teams and they're getting better as characters. And then my disappointment with Concolay is every other episode where they don't do fucking jack shit. They do this slice of life bullcrap that I don't want to watch. Like, oh, let's spend all episode and make curry. No,
Hey,
fuck
man, that
you.
was
I
the
don't want to
best.
watch it.
That was the best
No,
episode
fuck
of the
you.
entire
That's
series.
the worst.
No, it
That is
wasn't.
the worst.
You,
Those are the worst episodes
man,
in Concolay.
Kenton, I love you, but you'll probably get lynched on a street one day if you say that.
Like, it's those are the worst episodes in Concolay. Is when they're not out on the water. Every time I watched one, I was so disappointed because I had to sit there for 23 minutes to watch nothing. It's so boring, and it's the worst. Ah,
It's okay to be wrong, Kenton. It's okay to be wrong.
I mean, I'll be
Alright.
wrong if you want me to, but they're still the worst.
All right. Nier. Come to you. friend.
Near. If
What do you have to
here,
say?
I'll say it. Near's biggest disappointment is Berserk because
Nier's biggest disappointment is Prison School.
he got off
Pretty
the
sure like
Next.
my biggest disappointment is like the year itself. Like 2015 was like so full of disappointments, and not even like just in anime. Like I swear.
Just life, I guess, in general.
He
Yeah,
got off the boat. Now he waits 6 more months. Yeah.
like
Wait until
like
he-
hey,
wait until-
Berserk's out of hiatus. Hey, he got off the boat. Hey, there's a new anime. Hey, Berserk's on hiatus. Hey, the anime's all fucking CG. Hey, it's done by a company in the UK. Oh, cool. Hey, God Eater was fucking trash. Hey, the ending of Working was fucking horrible.
Dude.
I hate 2015, dude.
Wait until Berserk, or wait until like gets back on the fucking boat. Dude.
Yeah, he's all like, now I need to get back on the boat to train, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, please no.
I'm gonna give it to Working though,
Ooh, that's what I thought you'd go for.
cause like,
That or Charlotte, maybe.
well, I didn't watch Charlotte, but like, Working's ending
Yeah,
was
we also
so.
talked about this. Yeah. Did you watch the last bonus episode thing? That was
No,
like an hour.
no,
Nope.
didn't want to. I'm not gonna.
Didn't need to. Didn't want to.
It's just.
Here's the tagline: Working season. What's the latest season?
Season 3.
Great.
Working season 3. We're working on the ending. Oh.
All right, we're moving on. We already talked about working too. That pacing though. That
Hated it.
pacing.
Hated
That
2015. Hated it.
Okay. Now, the next award is a bit of a more on the pleasant side. The Amazon Prime Award for Most Pleasant Surprise. So again, Most Pleasant Surprise is sort of the opposite of the biggest disappointment. You had not very good expectations, low expectations, whatever. You were just like, that's gonna be whatever. And it turned out to be surprisingly good, or definitely more than what you expected. So I chose Junketsu no Maria, or Maria the Virgin Witch, for this. I didn't expect much of it. I thought it was gonna be some stupid shit where she just like journeys to random places and does episodic stuff. And it turned out to be actually much more interesting, much more coherent. It did have a romance sort of aspect to it, but it tried to delve into the bigger questions. Did it succeed in answering them? Not necessarily, but I do like how it was more coherent. It was historic, a lot of stuff that included in terms of armor, fighting, religion, stuff like that, were much more historically accurate than I expected them to be. And the people in it were relatively humane. Um, and I just really liked that it came down to that. It was much more tame. It was much more coherent. So I don't know. I just thought it'd be some sort of stupid like episodic shit like Juketsu no Maria, just a witch helping out random people. But it ended up being much more than that, and I really did find it a pleasant surprise. So that's where my award goes to. Nier.
Mine goes to Wakakozake,
Ah, yes.
which, if you remember, is a little series of 2-minute shorts uh, that are only about a woman going and eating food. Um, when we covered this on the preview show, I really expected it to be like almost like an advertisement thing. Like, check out, because the plot
Check out
synopsis
drinks.
the plot synopsis was all about like her going to bars and drinking, right?
Right, right.
And so my first thought was like, oh, this is probably like product placement, the anime, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, this is such a good brand of sake or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't
Or
that
like,
at all. It's just a girl, she goes into a restaurant, she
right.
orders food, she talks about it, the episode's over. And it does it it does it so like perfectly. It's
Yeah.
so fucking weird. Like
It's just they like just talk about, like, oh, this might be good with this beer or whatever, and you're like,
it's oh my god. It's such a weird premise and such a weird concept, but like it's probably like one of the most fun shows I've watched this year, and I was like, it's so good. Like it's the perfect show. It's a perfect show. Best show. It's
Is
great.
it better than Angel Beats?
wow, dude,
No
wow,
comment.
dude, no comment. All right, Kenton, most pleasant surprise.
Sorry. I didn't know my mic was unmuted. Okay. My most pleasant surprise was Gakko Garashi.
Okay,
Because I heard a lot of people talk about, it was just described as a club with zombies, so I didn't know what the hell I was expecting when I went into it. Um, so I started it, and then I got hooked at the end of the first episode. I kind of had like a Madoka moment, like you do in episode 3.
right,
There's
right.
there's kind of like a moment of that, like at the end of episode 1. Not as dramatic, but it still makes you go, "What the hell?"
Yeah, like,
Um, yeah, and then after that, you finally realize. Then I realized what the zombie was about, because it's like an apocalyptic kind of thing is going on, and all this other stuff. And then you learn, then the 4 girls are trying to survive in this club in the school while trying to maintain having a normal life for sanity's sake.
right, right.
And then they go through a bunch of struggle, and it just gets a lot better. And then I cried at one point, so that happened.
Okay, and toast.
My most pleasant surprise is Konkoi because it showed me how crap it was. So I was like, "Hey man, I don't need to take this serious anymore." No, I'm kidding. It is Rakudai Kishi. Because I came in thinking like it was going to be the super generic
Rocket
harem,
Kishi, dude.
thing, and it turns out, hey, 3 episodes in,
It's
it's all like,
super
hey,
generic.
they're already boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was like, oh, snap. Character progression better than Nisekoi, 200 chapters. And he actually picks a girl in the beginning. It's
That's
not,
not a high. That's not a high
What a
bar.
high bar, my
it's
friends.
not, but it's better than Asterisk. I'll say,
That's
I'll
also not a high
summarize it.
bar.
I came in for the sweet swords and whatnot, but then I realized the characters were pretty decent. So I was like, this is actually better than I thought. Also, the visuals are pretty cool. You know
Okay.
what? In all, I'm just pleasantly surprised because I thought it was going to be generic, but it turned out slightly better. Despite what Spires
Alright.
says,
I'm not even gonna comment on Rocket Kishi.
Little
I don't think I
Busters,
need to.
Charlotte.
SOH. Alright. So, with that out of the way, we now come to the final portion of our awards show. Thank you all for listening in. Again,
Bye. See you next year.
yeah, see you next year. We won't. That's the last one. See you guys. It's over.
We're done? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a sandwich.
Yeah. All right. So, in seriousness, I mean, yeah, we had our share of disappointments in 2015, but I think for our podcast in general, I think it was a very interesting year. We had a lot of developments going on. I think, we changed around some of our staff members or cast members, but overall, I think we had a year where we could have a decent amount of discussions, and even with stuff like Conclave, where we didn't hit the mark with the series, we still had a whole bunch of very interesting discussions about what it could have been. So, with that in mind, I'd like to introduce the Best Anime of the Year award.
Oh, don't you put that evil on me.
So, the best anime, of course, we have all our various rubrics, and I would like for people to sort of give a very quick, rundown of how they chose the anime they did, what anime they chose, and again why they chose it. So, should I go first then? Set the example.
Go
No,
for
I
it,
want to go
man.
first.
All right, you go.
Fine. My anime of the year, regrettably, goes to.
Regrettably? How
Gosh,
does
it has to go to Concole, man.
what?
What?
Oh my! Man, I can't even say it. Oh, jeez. No,
What?
I can't even say it. Save me. Okay, I'll give it to Unlimited Blade Works.
Okay.
My God, I couldn't even say that with a straight face. God, golly, why?
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll give it to Unlimited Blade Works. You know why?
And
Because that was the most hyped thing I was looking forward to since last year and this year. Cause
Okay.
it's
it's
so good.
UW.
Yeah,
And
man.
yep.
Fate. Everyone knows Fate Zero, done by UFO Table, was good.
Yeah.
And set the bar for that. Everything is just so good. Like, it overall, like it's not a perfect 10 out of 10, but because I had some problems with the director, Takahiro Miura or something Miura. He's a visual director, not a story director. Meaning,
Okay.
like, he's better with like visuals and
Mhm.
not exactly storytelling.
Okay.
But what he did with the visuals was pretty good, man. Like
Pretty good.
the Archer versus Lancer fight that set the bar for the entire series. Like, just in the first episode, it's all like, this is what Unlimited Blade Works fight scenes are gonna be like, and they never let me down.
Okay.
And there was also, and like, it wasn't just a straight adaptation either. There was a lot of extra content that was added in.
Right, you were
That,
explaining this to me
yeah,
like at the
it's
beginning of
no,
the
it's
year.
not a straight adaptation, but they did a lot of
All
new
right.
things.
I
Like,
apologize. I apologize.
they added there was some backstory involving Caster and whatnot. There was backstory involving Archer. They fleshed out a lot more characters than I thought they would, which had to happen since this is not the the first route. This is the second route, and some characters had to be pushed aside, regrettably, like Saber and whatnot. But yeah, they tried their best, and but they added a few things like to alleviate that, like Saber's past where she did some things that she's not exactly proud of, and she wants to take it back. They addressed that in the anime, and made a they made a connection to that with Shiro and whatnot. Shiro's backstory, because this is
Right.
basically his route, not Saber's route.
Okay.
I mean, I could just go on about all the positives about how the related works.
I mean, we've also gone over it like way like
Yeah,
before too.
man.
So
It's just
I don't think we need.
it is a very good adaptation. It's not the perfect adaptation. There's a lot of glaring flaws, but it's just
Yeah.
good overall.
But overall, it's yeah, especially out of the selection.
Especially out of what the other contenders, Concole.
All right, we're moving on. We're not dwelling on this conclave wound anymore, Toast. We'll close it now.
Heaven's Feel, please.
Heaven's Feel,
I have a lot
please.
of high hopes for Heaven's Feel. It's gonna be great.
All right. So Kenton, best anime of the year.
I really thought about giving it to Haikyuu, but then I realized I did that last year, and I would feel like a jerk if I did that again. So I gotta be that guy and go with UBW.
You're not
Cause
going with JoJo? My God. Oh wait, no, Kenta doesn't like JoJo.
no, I can't pick season one. So
Yeah, you can.
I mean, I can't give season one the best anime of the year award for 2015. Although I totally would, but no, I can't do that. And it's not that I don't like JoJo. It's just I don't think the seasons after season one are as good as everyone thinks. But whatever.
Okay, so UBW.
No, I gave it to UBW just because. I mean, everything Toast said. The battles are so good, and I went into UBW with no Fate experience.
Mhm.
So I mean, understanding a lot of the references wasn't something that I was, very good at, and I did know that it was the second route and not the
Right.
first route. But even if you don't know, just
Yeah,
watching those,
you can still play. I mean, you can still go through it
you could,
without knowing which route it is. So
yeah. I mean, you could go into it like the visuals are so good, the fight scenes are so good, and I know you mentioned the Lancer uh, and Archer fight and all that, and then just after those fights, they get so much better. They're so good. Just everything about that show is so good, especially compared to this year, because it seems like this year has been pretty terrible.
pretty on the down low, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely worse than last year. It's pretty
Okay.
bad. So
Year.
Wow, this guy.
What did you
Don't
want
worry,
me to
don't
give
worry.
you like?
Spire's just saying his out because his is gonna be the best out of all of us.
Clearly.
Hey.
I had a I had a really hard time like picking this one because
Mhm.
obviously the best of the year. But
Is it because there were so many good series to pick from here?
not really. It's more that there were. It's not that there were many like so many good series. It's that there were those few really good series.
Mm-hmm.
And I settled on picking Kekai Sensen
Okay.
most mostly because I really like the way it just like turned out in the end. Like I went into Kekai Sensen and I think I talked about this on the podcast with my impressions, and I felt like the first few episodes didn't really know what it wanted to be because it was bouncing between this uh this action series and this comedy series,
Right. Right.
and then a few episodes later it really sinks in to the comedy role, and it gets really 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 fantastic, and just the characters like interacting with each other is extremely funny. uh, the main character sets a really good like baseline, but he's
Mm-hmm.
still quirky, um, where and then every other character is like extremely weird, obviously, because they're in this city full of like monsters and stuff.
Aliens, just monsters and aliens and whatever. Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a really, really good comedy series. It's a really good sort of action series. There's not a lot of action, but what is there is good. And I think it wraps up pretty nicely, and it was probably what my most enjoyable watch of the year.
Okay. And my so the way I do the best one every year is I obviously has to have a good story. It's essentially everything I want in a series, right? Realistic character interactions, coherent world, uh, does whatever it sets out to do objective wise. That's why I almost nominated like Twin Tales for best anime like 1 or 2 years ago. Um, does what it needs to do, does what it wants to do, and does it well. Uh, has good audio visuals and needs to two very important points are it needs to be original or unique, from before, from preceding anime, which makes sequels extremely hard to get in my list top list for the year, just because if it's the same stuff, it's not going to work as well. And it also needs to be, if it's an adaptation, this is very important. It needs to be beyond the original content. But what I mean by that is it needs to show that by being an anime, it is something worth watching that I wouldn't get if I was reading the manga, reading the light novel, reading the visual novel. It needs to be an experience that I say, wow, I enjoyed watching the anime because it showed me a different perspective about what the story was. I think that's a hallmark of a really good anime adaptation, where it shows something different, where it kind of does this thing with a pacing, maybe truncation, maybe visualization that no, I wouldn't get anywhere else. Uh, so my best series was actually Non Non Biori season 2. And I know I just did say that it is very hard for me to give a sequel the best anime of the year. And this is actually the first year, like whether I've been blogging before this podcast or whether on this podcast or whatever, this is the first year that I've ever given a sequel the best series of the year, and probably only like the second time or so that I've given uh, an adaptation the best series of the year award. But I just feel as if the obviously the audio visuals are top tier or top notch with what it does, the countryside pacing and everything like that. But it also there is a small flaw to it. Again, the beginning of it,
The
where
beginning.
yeah, the beginning of it, and I feel Hotaru, the main character, starts becoming weaker and weaker as the series progresses. But the interactions of Non Non Biori is just so unique in terms of how the non sequitur works. It remains childish. There are a whole bunch of children just messing around in the countryside, but somehow they manage to keep it unique. Either whether it's playing out new countryside games, or whether it's doing like weird farming stuff, or whether it's pulling in the adults around them, or doing very silly slice of life stuff. And it, it feels like it should get old, but it doesn't, because of the different things it manages to pull out. The character interactions, the character personalities themselves are very, very simple, but the way they interact with each other, the way they, you know, pull in, oh, we're going farming or we're going to the rice paddies today, or we're gonna, catch some bugs, or we're gonna do this. Those interactions are made new by these like episodes, and I really think that like Non Non Fury does this aspect of slice of life really well, just really well, like much better than pretty much any slice of life series I've seen since like Kyoko or Hanasaku Ira or something, or Kokoro Connect. And yeah, the hallmark that made me give Non Non Biori the award for best slice of life also in the end makes me give it to Non Non Biori, the best overall anime of the year. Again, this is the first year I've ever given a sequel uh, best anime of the year, but
It's
for what it's worth,
so good. It's so
for what
good.
it's worth, I'm glad I did give it to Non Non Biori. I did have honorable mentions to Maria the Virgin Witch, but unfortunately it got knocked out because, uh, as I said before, Maria the Virgin Witch has some big questions. It had some big shoes to fill, but unfortunately it did not fill them. It did not resolve the questions it itself answered, and so for that bit of sort of intellectual laziness, I can't give it the award. So again, my award goes to Non Non Biori Season 2. And with that, I think the awards show is over. Again,
You forgot one. Forgot one award.
yes.
You
Do
forgot.
you want?
This one doesn't concern you though, so you can just butt out for a minute. Sorry if that sounds
Uh,
rude.
can
This
we
is
just
it.
wrap it up like
Th-
this? Like I'd prefer to. All right.
no,
Uh,
no,
I,
no, no. We're doing it. We're going to overtime award. This one is the best Aspire
oh
moment, where we all talk about the best thing that Aspire
no.
did
Okay,
this
Toast.
year.
No,
No,
Toast. All right, all
no.
right. We're all right. So
Fine, whatever,
thanks for joining us.
whatever. Worry ward.
Thanks. Thanks for joining us again. It was an interesting year. Maybe not the best of years for anime, but
Definitely not.
definitely an interesting one. Year, please. But definitely one with interesting discussions. I hope throughout the year you guys have enjoyed, what we brought to the table in terms of, thinking about these series, even if they weren't the best of series. Just, why were they bad? What could have been done? What maybe should have been done, so on. But there were some gems in the rough, and we enjoyed those while we can. And we look forward to seeing better series, more hype series, more exciting series, more pleasant surprises in the year to come. So, as always, please do follow us on our twitch.tv at 4PlayerAnimecast with a number 4, as well as our social media on Twitter and Facebook. We deliver live podcasts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other Saturday. So visit us there. We talk about anime previews, award stuff, whatever. And of course, we have our own site at 4PlayerAnimecast.moe where we deliver text content in terms of interviews as well as sidecast and our main cast, which is our very own podcast streaming right now. So again, thank you for all the viewers, our listeners out there, Twitch viewers in chat right now for sticking with us through another year. And as always, see you next time.
Bye.
Hated 2015.